Hello, everyone. I am Carlos A.S. Lysing. Welcome to the first Betrayal campaign. Istis is gone, replaced by me. Normally, over here to my left, I would have Jeremy Brazil playing Rainmar and Patrick Hope over on my right playing Agrias. This is a makeup session for those two gentlemen. Unfortunately, they've had some technical difficulties right now. They're going to be joining me, I've been assured, probably in about 5 to 10 minutes as soon as they get set up. And at that point, then I'll go ahead and spring them on everybody and we'll begin our session. But until then, I thought it would be a good idea for me to hit you guys with a little bit of Castle Entertainment news today. Um, Today is May 1st, as you know. For those of you who are out there that are members of our patron, thank you so much for supporting us, as usual. You guys are the grease and the gasoline by which this engine moves, so I couldn't do this without you guys, so I appreciate all your support. Um, all the physical rewards for the patron, the Merchandise Valkyrie has mailed those out to everybody. So you guys will be getting those in the mail very soon. As you guys may or may not remember, um, we were a little bit late this month because of the COVID-19 pandemic. We decided we would mail out just a little bit late to make sure that everybody could, well, first of all, that we could get to the post office and that everybody would get their stuff in good stead. Well, I'm pleased to be able to tell you that everything went out today. So you can expect that in the mail very soon. Um, for those of you who are not members of the module tiers or anything like that, um, this month was Halfling month for us. I'm excited to say I love the little demo humans, and everything that you'll be getting this month, or that you may have already gotten this month, is related to Halflings. The mini module, the monster of the month, the magic item of the month, and the spell of the month are all halfling related. Uh, you'll be receiving about halfway through the month our article, which is halfling related as well. Very excited for you guys to receive that and tell me what you thought. I think the small folk get a little bit of a bad rap by players. Players that are interested in playing powerful characters generally go for elves because they've got so many special abilities. They can multi-class so freely. Um, their level limits are pretty high. So you're looking in a first edition game at a lot of people with looking very favorably on elves. Um, if those of you, if other people will be interested in playing a little bit heavier characters, they'll play dwarves because of the strength bonuses that they get, or maybe even half orcs because they also get it. Um, that leaves basically the gnomes and the halflings by themselves getting a little bit of short shrift. So if you'll pardon the pun. So I'm really excited that you guys get a chance to see me bring some light and some hopefully get a little bit of give a little bit of love to the small folk. Amanda Rue, that is another cool thing. Last month, some of you might remember that my guest for Castle Talk was Sarah Dallinger, the Mistress of Monsters. If you didn't see it, you can catch up on our interview over on YouTube. It was probably one of my favorite interviews we've done. Not only is Sarah an awesome creator, not only is she just a wonderful human being, she was just a great guest. It was a very kinetic, interactive with the crowd session, and we at the end of it we did a little bit of monster building together, and all of you that helped Gaetano was involved in it heavily. Amanda was involved in it. Dave Ryak was involved in it. They've all gotten copies of the monster that we created, which I stat blocked out and Sarah did the art for. And I'm pleased to be able to give all of you guys a copy of that. I think that it'll be very well received. I think they did a really cool, she did a great job with it. And I'm seeing that my players are now beginning to arrive. So I'm going to let them in. We'll reformat the screen a bit, and we'll go from there. Um, Here we go. Let's see who's first. We've got Jeremy Brazil. What's happening, my man? Can't hear you. There, I hear a little something in the background now.
Little something, something.
A little something, something.
Okay.
Where do you happen to know where our buddy Agrias is?
He is.
Oh,
Should be
never
on
mind.
already.
He just showed up.
Yeah, he should be on.
I feel
Yeah.
like I summoned him magically just now.
Stop it.
All right, well, give me just a moment, everybody out there in the crowd. I will go ahead and reformat the screen so you guys can see everybody in their glory.
Ugh. Oh God. Patrick. Yeah.
There he is. The great Patrick Hope. Good to see you, brother. Oh, repping too. I love that. Thugging out. How you doing, Patrick?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Oh, this is what my sword looks like in the game, by the way.
Hold on for just a second. I'm formatting screens. Hit me with
Oh,
it.
here it is.
Whoa! Look at that. That is a bad animal right there. Show us
the sword too.
Show us the handle and the and the hilt of that. Oh wow, that's a nice curve to it. Take a picture of that for us later so that I can go ahead. I can have our artist capture that in your character sheet.
You want me to send a picture of the sword too?
Yeah, that too.
That was
and live too. That's the best part. Live. That'll be captured, Patrick, on YouTube for everybody in perpetuity. I want you to know. So just keep
I just
that
want to
in
go on
mind.
record. I want to go on record as saying I don't know this dude. What's really funny is that I don't normally make jokes like that, but it was so good.
Oh yeah, of course not. No.
Which is the cousin of Ogud,
Oh Lord.
which is a
Okay.
great character, by the way.
What's that?
Which was a fun character to play, by the way.
Oh yes.
Am I the only one that feels nauseous right now?
No, I'm not. I actually, I would have felt nauseous, but my dude actually just gave many props to Ogud, so I can't get too mad at him.
Ogud the dog puncher,
The
baby.
dog puncher. Dude. All right. And I think I got everybody now. Everybody's formatted on screen.
Okay.
I was just Patrick. It was let's see what we got here. So glad everybody's practicing social distancing here in our room. Yeah, of course we are. That's how we roll here at Castle Entertainment. Amanda.
Are we really live right now?
Yeah, we're live. We're live and uncut right now, brother.
Well, you're not live. I tell you that.
You know, Patrick. I don't know whether you know this or not, but you were sequestered, or actually, you were press ganged into duty for Castle Entertainment. Did your brother happen to tell you about this yet?
No, not yet.
Did you know who our guest for May is going to be? Our special guest that's going to be talking about our rewards. It's going to be held later in the month.
No.
His name is Patrick James Hope.
Oh.
Yeah, everybody out there in Twitch here, my good buddy Patrick Hope is going to be our guest over on Castle Talk. And the reason I did that is for a couple reasons. Number one, for June, the monthly for our patron, our monthly topic is going to be the Tenebrous Hand. Those of you guys who watch the first Betrayal, the Tenebrous Hand has become a major part of the campaign and its background. Tenebrous Hand, for those of you who are just viewing for the first time, they are an organization of estates who are basically they're martial artists. They're elvish martial artists with a origin that goes way back, actually into the very first days of the Elven race. Patrick has played a group, one of the members of this organization, which has shadowy tendrils deep into the history of the Floness everywhere. Well, Patrick is the only character who's ever played a member of the Tenebrous Hand, and it is Patrick's birthday month next month. So I thought it would be really cool, and Jeremy thought it would be really cool if we dedicated the whole month to Patrick James Hope by doing everything that we're going to do is Tenebrous Hand, and we're going to interview him, and he's going to tell us a little bit about not only the Tenebrous Hand and his experiences, how martial arts fit into Dungeons and Dragons, because as many of you know, it's not really a core rule. It was released originally in Unearthed Arcana. I mean, excuse me, on Oriental Adventures. However, being that it is a first edition rule, I think a lot of people don't realize that stuff like Wilderness Survival Guide, Dungeoneer's Survival Guide, Oriental Adventures, Unearthed Arcana, these rules are optional, but at the same time, you can mix and match them to give spice and flavor to your campaign as you wish. I have a tendency to use more rules of that nature than many do, but I kind of knew the kind of when Patrick and I were devising his character back in the beginning of the campaign. I knew that it was a great opportunity to employ those rules to kind of give the character the vibe that he was looking for. Um, Patrick is a relatively new 1E player, though. So all of you guys out there are going to get a chance to see. We're going to talk not just only about Tenebrae's Hand, but we'll talk about Patrick's experiences with 1E so far. He's a convention player now. He's just started that. He's looking at this whole thing with fresh eyes. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk to a player. And I know a lot of you out there remember who are really big first edition enthusiasts. You probably remember those first days when you started playing. And you remember that sense of wonder. And you remember when everything was fresh and new before you read all the rules. And some of you had been playing for 20 years and maybe were a little jaded. Um, I know that when Patrick speaks to you, a lot of that will come back to you. You'll remember a little bit about what it was like those first days. So that's one of the main reasons I want you on there. Besides the fact that you're an absolute G and that you've been a huge supporter of us from the beginning, Patrick is one of the nicest, most wonderful people I know out there, not only in the community but in my life. Period. So
Thanks, man.
giving him a little bit of shine to the rest of the community out there, so you guys get a little bit of knowing who he is. When you see him at a show, you'll realize he's a dangerous man not to be messed with, and maybe you'll keep a little bit of distance. But that's okay. That's okay too.
Depending entirely on what dice set he's carrying with him.
Well, that's true. That's true. But more than that, he's the good people in our lives are also very dangerous people sometimes. I think it's good to remember that. Uh, I remember there's a great article back from Dragon Magazine back in the day called "Good Doesn't Have to Be Stupid." Well, good doesn't necessarily have to be nonviolent either.
You noticed that, huh?
So while Patrick brings light and life to the world, just remember, evildoers, that he's just as liable to snuff you too. So, but Patrick, so now you know. That's the part of the surprise is that you're going to be the main man for that show. Amanda Rue is blowing up the Twitch feed right now. Shame nobody out here saw anything. I see Jeremy's had his afternoon coffee. Is it Grice throwing up gang signs? Grice, were you just throwing up gang signs, or was that?
Yeah, I did. I did West Side.
Okay, I couldn't tell. Or it was either that, or it was you were throwing up the first Betrayal Tenebrae's Hand signs. Maybe we should make a gang sign for Tenebrae's Hand.
Oh, I thought there already wasn't it?
No, it was Latin Kings.
The Tenebrae's Hand. Hey,
yes,
I can tell you
I'm a son
from
of Chicago. I know these things. But
one thing about my brother that you should be aware of is if you have a dog, if you own a dog, or if you happen to be a dog, don't bring your dog to a convention and don't be a dog at a convention because he has this tendency to punch. He's a poodle puncher. He's a hound hitter.
That was one time.
Okay, yeah, well, first of all, we will get to the dog punching thing in just a moment, but I got to address out there. Hey, Gafang, good to see you there, Brixton. Awesome. I was just extolling Agrias's virtues here, so fortunately you didn't have to see that. But
and I'm not sure that Patrick's virtues and Agrias's virtues are really the same thing.
I think they are actually in a lot of ways, and we're going to get to that though in his interview. I don't want to spoil.
Okay. I'm not skipping ahead. Everybody,
I don't want to skip ahead for anybody, but I do want to say, first of all, Amanda, you're not here saying by yourself anymore, thankfully. The other thing I want to say is that we played a game back at Game Hole. I ran 3 on book games. and one of them was they were the playtests for the modules that most of you have already received: Sanguine Labyrinth from His Cold Dead Hands and Forgotten Temple of Renette. But I ran a lot of off-book games there, mostly because Patrick, it was his first show that he had ever been to with Jeremy and I, and we really wanted to make it a memorable event. So we gamed pretty much 24/7 when we weren't out gallivanting across the countryside getting coffee. Um, we were gaming 24/7. One of the things I wanted to do was I promised David Aho, who plays Arion in our campaign. David, if you're watching this, good to see you, man. I promised him an Avamere game in which he would get a chance to play his old character Sebastian Beaumont because he really enjoyed it. Well, Jeremy and Patrick were playing NPCs in it, and the character that Patrick played was a monk called Ogun the Dog Puncher. Ogun the Dog Puncher, and it was he got the nickname the Dog Puncher because he got in this confrontation with the guard dogs at this facility, and I think he might have punched 17 dogs or so during that it was pretty gruesome, to be honest with you, because he was a pretty high level monk at that point in time, and yeah, it was pretty gruesome. But he became the Dog Puncher afterwards.
That scene was so ridiculous because the guard didn't let the dog go until Patrick said, "Oh no, dogs really like me." And the guard said, "I don't think this one likes you." And Patrick said, "Oh no, I think he does. Let him off the leash." And then went boom.
You're right. He doesn't like me.
No, that was a highlight of Gamehole for me. That was crazy.
Pretty hilarious. I think it was, for me, the highlight was either that or in the Forgotten Temple of Renette game, one of my players and one of Jeremy and I's dearest friends, Greg Johnson, who's an awesome player, lives in Florida. He's played in a lot of Castle Entertainment games. He was playing a fighter magic user, and he role plays the hell out of his characters. He was playing a fighter magic user, and they were in this group of Ouijasian paladins and clerics and everything. And he was kind of a solo agent on this, and he was not liking the way that the leadership was going at all. So within 5 minutes of the game beginning, he hands me a slip of paper across the table. And it says, "I charm our leader." And I look over at the player character, and I keep going, I keep DMing, and because I don't want to give up the game for him. And about maybe 3 minutes later, I ask the player to roll a 20-sider for me. He rolls a 2. So now he's charmed. The rest of the game, I spent telling this player character, every time Greg would say something, I'd be like, Greg has a lot of really good ideas. Maybe you think, you think you should.
I forgot about that.
Oh my God. I was laughing inside. And I was looking across the table, watching Greg try to keep a straight face. So Greg was kind of shadow leading the group because by the time the game was over, I had led this player character into this so much that he was really relying on everything Greg said. So he was kind of shadow leading the group while not
totally.
Well, then in the next game, 2 games later, we ended up playing From His Cold Dead Hands, and Rainmar and Agrias, Patrick and Jeremy and Patrick, were playing these 2 brothers. One was a cleric, a cleric thief of Loki, while the other was a fighter cleric of Thor.
And I want you guys to take a wild guess who was who. Oh God!
So let me get this right. Here's something else we have so let me get this right. We have a dog puncher and a snake charmer. Yes, we do. So at any rate, these 2 were going at it the entire time, clowning on each other through the entire game. And Greg was the leader of the group. He looks at me, and he just kind of nods and points at his character sheet. He points at charm person. So he charms Jeremy and Patrick. Again, this is the second time in a row he's played a game with me that he's charming player characters. I just shook my head.
Hey, but in Cold Dead Hands, you also had another slip of paper passed to you during that game.
I did. You want to go with that and tell us a story?
I just sent Carlos a text message in the middle of the game saying that I pickpocket my brother's. Was it his drinking horn?
It was his drinking horn.
And then for the rest of the game, I kept asking him, "Hey man, do you have any mead available that I could try?" He
And
didn't
Patrick
have the
keeps
mead
looking
one.
down and was like, I think part of him thought that we were trying to hint at something in game to him that was important, like it
Yeah,
was dangerous
exactly.
or something, like some ghost or something was picking his pockets or something like that. That he was missing his gear, because I could see the look at his face. There was a little bit of concern there. He
Okay,
was
but
like, oh,
my favorite scene in Cold Dead Hands was when Greg was Greg, I love you, man. I know you were stressed. I know you were stressed out during that game, but we do love you, man. It's just how we roll. And he's trying to get the group to do something, and he says, "Okay, we got another door here. Does somebody want to check for traps?" And Patrick said, "Sure," and threw the meat barrel through the door.
there was
Check
a
for
massive meat
traps.
hall in which they'd fought a
Oh
dragon,
God.
and when they defeated it, Patrick didn't have his drinking horn anymore because Jeremy pickpocketed. He's like, and he's a cleric of Thor, of course. So he's like, I grabbed the whole meat barrel, just put it out my shoulder. So he's walking through there with this like a boombox on his shoulder, like it's do the right thing, and he's Radio Raheem with this giant thing of friggin' meat on his shoulder. Every once in a while, when he wants something to drink, I just watch him pour it. And there was one point in time when Greg was doing all this stuff. He looks over at Patrick because he's about ready to give him an order, and Patrick is underneath the mead thing. Remember, you had the faucet turned up, and you're just letting it pour in your mouth, drinking mead.
Because didn't he have to roll Constitution
He
check
did
for
have to
that
roll
at one point?
Constitution for it because it was so old, the mead, that it
Yeah.
had gotten really, really strong. Well, there's other things at play too. Anybody who's bought or has played Cold Dead Hands realizes this is an adventure that takes place in the barbarian north of the World of Greyhawk. There's 10 people around my table. Okay, I had to make extra NPCs um, to accommodate everybody that played that game. So these guys are all these just wild men, just crazy men, and Greg is trying to run the adventure as the here it is right over here. It's Cold Dead Hands. Valkyrie brought it out to me. That was the scene of the group in the meat hall fighting the white dragon. But Greg, it was like herding cats. Him trying to take the
Was
lead
so
of this whole
stressed
group.
out.
And so he basically at one point just had to say, you know what, I charmed these two idiots.
No, it's because he actually said at the table, because he looked over at me and Patrick, and we had played in another game together. He's like, "All right, I got my team of hard chargers. This is going to be," because in the last game we were pretty surgical, but in that game, in Cold Dead Hands, we were playing the brothers,
and you were just maniacs.
They were total different characters,
right?
And then he said, "Where did he say, Patrick? Something like, I'm
the leader of a drunken mob."
Yeah, I'm the leader of a drunken mob, and nothing. Even my most reliable partners here, I can't rely on anybody.
Oh, it was so awesome! As a DM, I'm just sitting here giggling to myself like an idiot because I thought it was just tremendous. And you guys, actually everybody around the table role played that to the hilt. I thought. We had a player in there, one of my friends who's the one of the Gronyards. So if you guys watch their podcast, Eric Hawley, Patrick and Jeremy kept looking at each other like, I'm gonna cap this guy because halfway through because he was role playing his character and he kept screwing with him through the whole adventure. And they're looking at each other like, I think I'm gonna cap this guy here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Eric, I love you, man. You had those guys worked up, and we also had our good friend. All three of us had our good friend Linda Booth was playing a thief, and here she is trying to be all methodical through there. She's trying to check for traps, everything, and these maniacs. She's checking for traps when this meat barrel goes flying over her shoulder and breaks the door open.
Hey,
She's
but I
like,
do have to
she looks
say,
over. Remember, this was what happened after that. That was a great moment. But I thought that was just as funny as when she looked over her shoulder, looks back at Greg, and goes, "No, I don't think there's any traps here."
exactly, because it was efficient. That meat barrel blew the door to pieces.
Oh, it was awesome. It was so good. All
I'm all
right,
about being expeditious.
you two jackasses. You're playing totally different characters now. We're playing first Betrayal.
Yeah, I think Rainmar is a little bit different character.
Raymar is a way different
All right,
character.
Carlos, just for you.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, that was a roll where you wanted to roll a 1 though, Patrick. So
Are
that's
you
a
out
fail.
of your mind?
Oh,
Okay.
now it'll be funny if I roll a 1.
Okay, I'm going way back here again. I was about ready to start the game, but for all you guys out there who don't know the subtext to this, let me give you a little bit of background. All right. So again, this is Patrick's first convention, and we're all walking around the dealer's hall. And if you've been to Gamehole Con, they don't have a huge dealer hall. It's probably maybe about 20 or 30 stalls. Uh, but mostly, I know a lot of people at dealer hall, different artists, everything. We're reconnecting with people, and I spot this dice vendor there, and they've got some boutique dice, some stone dice, a bunch of metal. And I thought to myself, you know what? I want to get Patrick a really nice keepsake that he can bring back to home with him, and he can remember what a good time he had with his brother and me. And so we stop at this thing, and I told everybody, hold up for a second. I want to buy some dice. And they're like, oh, all right, cool. They're looking at the dice and everything. And I buy this one set of dice. I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is a really cool looking set of dice. And I purchased it from the vendor. And Patrick is sitting there. He's like, oh, wow, he's really grateful and everything. And his eyes are looking at the thing. I looked at him, I said, Patrick, I said, did you want a different set of dice maybe? He's like, well, and you got to know Patrick. He's such a good kid, such a nice. He was so grateful for that. I bought him the gift. I don't think he really wanted to say it at first, but he was like, uh, "Well, honestly, that one's really cool over there." And we looked at the guy, and I said, "Well, because all the dice had different names." He goes, "Well, what's that dice's name?" He goes, "Oh, that's the Undertow set." Well, Patrick is a huge Tool fan, so he's like, "Oh my God, that's perfect. We'll get those." I said, "All right, cool. Well, buy him the Undertow dice." So Patrick gets these Undertow dice. For the remainder of the convention, I have never ever seen a display of die rolling. And remember, I'm the one who rolled 13 20s in a row for my colorless mage character. Okay, this guy was so on fire with these dice. I have regretted ever since buying those dice for him. I knew I should have stuck with those originals. Can you imagine how things would have eventuated, Patrick, differently if you would have gotten the dice that we originally stuck with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. But he went on just this absolute maniacal tear with these dice. I mean, 20s, 50s. Oh, Patrick, you need to roll a 1. Oh, there's a 1. I mean, it's absolute. And the more
Yeah, was it?
important the die roll was, if it was clutch, it was absolutely perfect because he didn't. There were a lot of die rolls that didn't matter per se, and he made me would botch one of those. But I would look at him and say, Patrick, this die roll is pretty important. As soon as I said that, it was almost like the dice started glowing on the table. It's like, oh no, here we go. As soon as the clutch came out, it was over.
Yeah,
So
how many did one of those games? Didn't you roll 5 6s in a row or something?
In a row, and it was a I think it was Sanguine Labyrinth where there was the three mistresses.
right, and you
And
rolled the damage dice, and it was 6, 6, 6, 6, and I'm sitting there like, what is going on here?
Yeah, that's right. And that same game was, I think, 2 20s in a row or 3
Right.
20s in a row or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, until then, Amanda has these dice, okay, and she was given these dice. I want to say as a gift. No, these weren't those dice. I don't think so. But anyway, she got these dice at Gamehole from someone. I can't remember where she got them from. It's very possible that Satan appeared and just gave them to her and just
No,
walked
I wasn't
away
there.
because these dice, I'm just gonna ignore that, Jeremy. Until that display from Patrick, I've never seen dice roll like this. It got to the point when she went down to GrogCon down in Florida. that Dan Gormansky, if you're out there watching this, Dan, good to see you again. You'll remember this perfectly well, I'm sure. Dan was in trouble. He was rolling crappy, and his character was really under fire. And he looked at Amanda, and Amanda looked at him. Amanda's like, "Here, I want you to roll these." And Dan's like, "What?" And I'll be damned if. And now Dan started to suck the luck out of him eventually, but I
Way to
couldn't
go,
believe
Dan.
these friggin' yeah. Well, that's how Dan rolls. But I think
Oh,
that
Dan.
I think the further they got away from Amanda, the luck started to drain out of them. They started to realize, wait a second, this isn't an Australian rolling these dice. Uh, so they started to get weaker and weaker as time went on. They needed to be. Amanda goes. I bought them myself. They were pretty, and then I think they need to be recharged. Oh, and that's what Dan said too. I think so. Yeah, but for those of you guys out there who don't know who I'm referring to, Dan Gormansky, he is one of the show promoters of GrogCon. He's also a super good guy. If you guys want to catch him on Saturday mornings, in fact, in about 9 hours from now, he'll be on Grog Talk Saturday morning. On YouTube. You guys should catch his show. Him and James Garutsos put on an amazing podcast that I'm actually really jealous of. If Castle Talk could ever become half as good as what they do, then I would be super pleased. Those guys are engaging, they're hilarious, and they're also awesome gamers. You'll get a chance to catch Dan in the live play test, and this is the last thing I'm going to get to before we go with First Betrayal. We're doing a live play test. For those of you who follow Castle Entertainment, you know that I usually release my modules at conventions. GaryCon is the big one. Throughout the year, I release 6 modules, and usually all 3 of them, if not 4 of them, are released at GaryCon for play testing. Obviously, GaryCon was canceled this year because of COVID-19. So I was kind of in a rock and a hard place. I've got modules that need to get out to people here in June that have yet to be play tested. So with that being said, Amanda and I decided, what if we get the players that were signed up for Squaring the Circle, which is the module that we're going to be doing, and do a live play test on Twitch. I wasn't really all that enthusiastic about that because I think it loses a little bit when you're not able to play it around the table. Uh, I think that I think there's a little more of a dynamic atmosphere, and frankly, I was a little concerned about how my technology would hold up for that. Well, uh, we've solved a lot of those problems, and I think that well, not think we're going to do that on May 11th. So you guys will get a chance to see Patrick and Jeremy playing in the Squaring the Circle game as well as Dan. Um, Patrick and Jeremy are very important in this game. The Squaring the Circle game is all about a group of gnome samurai, samurai monks, what have you. It's based on the Magnificent Seven, the movie and the Seven Samurai. It's kind of a portmanteau of both of them. Seven Samurai and Magnificent Seven, employing Western aspects, employing uh, Oriental aspects of the Japanese movie. But imagine if they were all played by gnomes. Um, Patrick is a very important character in that because he's playing elder brother Shimada, who is actually the leader of the group. He's the Yul Brenner character in that from Magnificent Seven, whereas Jeremy will be playing the Steve McQueen character, brother Niv Tanner, who he's reprising his role from uh, Who Sits Upon the Oaken Throne, in which he was one of the standout characters in that. So if you guys want to get a chance to see these guys in action outside of First Betrayal, letting it all hang out in the conclusion of a Castle Entertainment module for publication, you get to see it on May 11th, 8 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be a badass game. I'm really excited about it. These guys are superstar players, and you'll get to see them in a super deadly environment because having read that module again myself, just going over it the other day, that's maybe one of the most unfair, deadly modules I've ever made. I would actually put that in unfairness right up with, well, I wouldn't say Tomb of Horrors, but we'll say that it's not that far off it's got some parts in it that I'm like, oh man, I should have toned that down, or I should have recalibrated that. But I'm not going to, because I want to see how it plays out with these characters. They're all I've got 7 guys around the table, and Jeremy and I were chatting the other night, and he mentioned that these are some of the best players I've ever played with, and I would tend to agree with him that these are a bunch of expert players.
No question.
I want to see how 7 hardcore, out of the box thinkers, guys that really understand their roles and groups and how to play them. I want to see how these guys handle a scenario where they're really going to be up against it. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see what we got here. 2 of the nicest humans you can meet, too. Yes, about James and Dan. It's true. Have you got bats flying around there or something, Rainmar? Okay. Amanda, don't curse us. We've been bat free now for a while. So anyway.
Yeah, really, that's how I ended up with coronavirus.
Jeez.
And I am gonna say, if you make anything more difficult than Sanguine Labyrinth, I'm gonna stop playing with you.
Oh man, well, you guys have heard it here, folks, that the last game Agrias will be playing with Castle Entertainment is going to be May 11th. He just announced his retirement. Agrias, just so you know, the difficulty level in Sanguine Labyrinth is not, it's about equal to what you're playing now. But the difficulty level to the next 2 modules in Sanguine Labyrinth are much, much higher.
Not when I play them.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We loved Sanguine Labyrinth so much, all my players did, at Gamehole Con, that we spent probably a good 6 hours after the game concocting, these guys did, Patrick and Jeremy, concocting ways to beat that module, what the optimal player makeup would be, the class race makeup. And by the time they were done, I was looking at it, I thought to myself, you know what? This is a really, really strong, I don't think it could do it.
Yeah, we were up until I think 4 a.m. maybe making those characters.
I remember we did. I don't even did we go to bed? Yeah, we went to bed for like 3 hours, then went and got coffee. So
that's right.
Yeah,
which was required.
So I would be fresh for a game that evening. But I think we had the pickup game in the afternoon after that, right? That's when we played Dog Puncher.
Yeah, I forgot we were up until 4 a.m. making the Dream Team.
That Dream Team is strong, and I've got a PDF of the Dream Team. If anybody out there would like to see a PDF of the Dream Team, I would be more than happy to send it to you, and you guys can look at it for yourselves. And if you guys have Sanguine Labyrinth, compare it against a module. Tell me what you think about how this group would cope with Sanguine Labyrinth. I think they did a really nice job with their class race combos. I just don't know if there's enough horsepower, to be honest with you.
I've changed my mind since Gamehole on my approach to that. I kind of want to take a gray dwarf approach to the whole thing.
And that is to say, you want to play a Durgar in there? Or would you say that you would like to play like a gray dwarf plays?
No, I want to have on the Dream Team at least a couple of those gray dwarfs.
One of the cool things about gray dwarfs is they have a tendency to be psionically, they have a predisposition to psionics.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
And if you play a true gray dwarf, much like playing Drow, they have a couple inherent abilities that they can use that make them a little bit more powerful. Well, a lot more powerful than a normal dwarf. That expansion ability is disgusting, for example. Having native abilities like that you can use at will can potentially be game changers. But then again, when it comes to Sanguine, much like when it comes to squaring the circle, I want you to metagame in that. I want you to do your best. I want you to pull out every dirty trick a player has, because these scenarios are no joke. They're very challenging. They're unforgiving. So I'm using all my dirty tricks. It wouldn't be fair if I didn't want you guys to do the same. So If you know all these exploits for characters, you want to play a dual-wielding cavalier, dark elf, or whatever in there, something absolutely repugnant like that, go for it. I don't care, because you're going to need it.
I think I I think I like the deep gnome approach. Their natural abilities whenever you're not an illusionist class, the things that they get as they progress,
Right.
that would be dirty under there too.
It
But
would be dirty.
one of the things about Sanguine Labyrinth that now having read through the module about 12 times, I get the feeling that you almost want to have all one race.
Mm.
There's some advantage to having all one race of folks in
That's
there.
true, I think, but if you were going to do that, you might want it to be like Gray Elven or at least Shades of Elven.
For sure.
I mean, that would kind of preclude the Gray Dwarf idea a little bit.
Oh, would I'm talking about two totally different
Oh,
things.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's a value in playing that whole thing with a set of elves.
You know what would
There's
be really good, actually, to be honest with you, Rainmar, in that scenario?
what's up?
A player of the Tenebrous Hand.
Well, we just take the whole temple.
Well, Alta Teresa herself would be the one to absolutely
Well,
would be.
I know how to probably beat that scenario with me, my brother, and one other player. You want to hear?
Yeah, sure.
We play the Dro at the bottom. Magnus, shout out. we need you, Magnus. We need you, brother.
Frankly, I think we create a dream team of race class combinations, but what might be a really cool exercise for that is assigning players to them. Who would be the best player for them? For example, you've got an illusionist in that group. Having a guy like Dan Gormansky as an illusionist who plays nothing but illusionists, that
Yeah,
is his friggin' niche.
there
That
you
would
go.
be a really good one. Having a guy like Magnus play your thief character, having Jeremy play like a thief illusionist or an assassin, Agrias playing a tenebrous hand character, things like that. Because when you bring individuals and you marry them to the character, it changes the entire flavor of it. Because when we were thinking about that whole concept before, all we were doing was we were thinking about it in terms of, okay, this class is well suited to handle this
And
situation.
this race,
Right.
that was
But if you introduce a player into that, they play these classes and races slightly differently. And I think
for
it
sure.
can accentuate or it can detract from it depending on who you have married up with them.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
having
think
Danny
there's.
Villanueva there to play a
Oh God,
druid.
Danny, that would be bananas. And and that's the thing is that at this point, I think we've learned a lot since Gamehole.
Right.
I would absolutely have my brother playing a fighter magic user.
Oh,
No question.
absolutely.
No question,
Absolutely.
because he's got that dialed, whereas I still fit the thief illusionist paradigm.
Or if I set up a monk in there, but we played him as an Oriental Adventurers monk in which they had special maneuvers, that would
Right.
be another situation I think in which Patrick would excel because he understands how to employ those better than I think your average player does.
Yeah, one other thing that I was going to say earlier is that I made that comment the other day about squaring the circle. That this is one of the best group of players I've ever been thrown into a module with.
It is good.
And what's crazy about that is the newest player is my brother, and
Yeah,
he's still a murderer. So I
he
mean,
is.
it's
He really is, and Patrick now is going to be running. This will be the second group he's been the leader of as well.
yeah,
One thing about Patrick is that I notice you can see a very distinct evolution in his gameplay. As you, Patrick, addressing you directly rather than just as a nebulous you, um, as you continue and you learn more and more about this game, and you learn player capabilities, I notice that you are able to put people in position to succeed more and more. The way you allocate players is changing. There's a definite evolution in your thought process there. You are starting to know what to look for. I can see it in you. I think that's really cool to watch that happen. Um, this will be a huge test for you as a leader. we talked a little bit about the idea of specialists versus generalists the other day. We have a private message group on Facebook for this Squaring the Circle group in which we are talking about how they want to play this, and we're Amanda is releasing information to these guys through there about the game so that they have an opportunity to see a little bit beforehand, which is really cool. I think it's adding a lot of flavor and value to the whole thing. But um, there's two real schools of thought as a leader that you can get into, whether you want to put your players into distinct roles, like for example, thief, your job is scout, your job is trap checker. Besides that, I don't want you to engage. uh, Magic user, your job is to cast hold person on there so the fighter in the back, so that the fighter characters can go up there and do what they do and slaughter people. You sign roles like that distinctly. Or you can make people generalists and say, okay, I just want to make people a group of people that can handle any situation, and we're super flexible and we switch crazy like that. Like for example, you're in the front, no, you're in the front, you're in the back, you're in the back, and you're ready for anything. There are merits and values to each of those. I think when you have a group of generalists, it makes it easier on the leader. But I also think that in this game in particular, the more I study these characters, I think that going with a specialist approach may actually be better. Um,
When you say this game, you're talking about First Betrayal or Squaring the
oh, I was
Circle?
talking about Squaring the Circle.
Okay.
And I think that I have a feeling that that will test Patrick's ability greatly. But as I see this evolution, I think you're better equipped to handle it than you were ever in the past. So, um,
Good to hear.
yeah, well, I do think so, and you're a smart dude too. You're insightful, so that you look at the game with fresh eyes, and you look at situations, and you're not hemmed in by conventional thinking. Like for
Yeah.
example, I played this game for 40 years. When I see a situation in the game, I already have a stock way of I'm going to handle this.
Right.
Okay,
Totally.
that is good, but it's also really bad, and it's worse the higher level you get, because your flexibility, your ability to adapt to situations, you put yourself behind the eight ball by already having a preconceived notion, and I think that you're immune to that right now. So
Hmm.
so that's cool. I'm excited about that, and like I said, I'm excited about the evolution in Patrick James Hope and the way that you play the game. So. All right,
Oh, I'm
without further ado, then, I know that we've had a lot of further ado in here about this, but we're having so much fun talking about different games and such
For sure.
that I kind of almost lost track of time.
Past, present, and future.
Yeah, I know, and it's awesome. And the cool thing about this is, I'm a 50-year-old man right now, but I don't see this ending anytime soon. There's so many
Oh,
things that I want to explore, so many ideas I want to explore. I've got two players here. I've got a bunch of players. I've got a player in Matthew Lazinski over here, Gufang, that's watching us over there. That he's half my age. He can play with me until the day I die. So I mean, I'm really excited. We've got a nice group, a bunch of people that are enthusiasts of what we do, and it's just this is something that I don't see this as being something that perhaps First Betrayal will end. Perhaps Sanguine Labyrinth will end. Whatever. But
not
not
if
that
you.
I have it open on my computer.
but there'll be something. There'll be something right after that.
I can tell you right now, if First Betrayal ends, I'll end you.
I'll hold them down.
Well,
You better hope you can roll 20s when I come for you, big guy.
I'll hide my dice.
Patrick, I want to tell you a brief story before we go any further.
All right.
So, when I was in college, I had to get a couple summer jobs because
You went to college?
I was basically homeless.
Okay.
And I had to get a couple summer jobs. Mostly so I had a place to stay because college closed down. I needed to go somewhere. And one of the summer jobs that I got was there was a hospital local to us. And I got a job as a security guard at this hospital. Basically, my job was to stand in the ER. And I've got stories about adventures at the ER for days. And I only worked there for like 2 weeks. But they had me in training to be a security guard for this, and they said, okay, well, we want to practice subduals. Just how you can take somebody down without hurting them, whatever. Who wants to be the test target? I will. I decided I would. Mind you, at this point in time, I'm at the top of my shape. I'm 151 pounds, 5'7". I'm 3% body fat. They said, okay, well, what's my job? Well, just stay away from these guys as long as you can. 50 minutes later, they decided that the entire exercise was done because they couldn't hold me. They couldn't stop. They just couldn't get to me. Think about that when it comes time to hold me down.
That's a real cute story, but that's a cute story. Let me tell you a story real quick before we start. I'm 141 pounds right now. I'm 5'7.5", maybe, because I'm a little taller than
You're
you.
a little bit taller than me. You're probably 5'8".
And I'm 4.2% body fat right now. So try your luck there, big guy. So I'll give you a
here's
head
the thing.
start.
Here's the thing about your story. That was 20 years ago, and now I'm 42% body fat. I tell everybody at work, I said, listen, you're just going to have to endure 4 minutes of fury. If you can live through 4 minutes with me, you're going to be fine. But it's that 4 minutes you got to deal with.
Okay.
How much do you weigh, Carlos?
Right now, I'm about 190 right now.
I bench more than that, so I hope you can run fast.
Funnily enough, so do I. With mass comes extra strength. Just yesterday, as a matter of fact, I did about 220. So
damn, well done.
Yeah. That's actually the most I've ever benched in my life. So, but like I said, I'll run fast for 4 minutes. so you can. And by the way, after I'm done, I'll probably pull both quads and I'll have a hip pull. So
I'll just wait for you to gas yourself out.
See, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. All you got to do is deal with the 4 minutes of fury.
It's funny that you use the word gas, because I was actually just going to run them down with the car. Because I'm lazy. Just
Yes,
okay.
You are. Yes, you are. I'll pull the Spetsnaz and just jump up and come right through the glass on you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's some Operation Overlord stuff right there.
That is some Operation Overlord stuff. And that's also something I would never do in a million years. I would just know, being an engineer, that your radius of turn is such that I can just cut back and I'd be fine. So anyway.
Why do you know that?
Because when you're old and you're washed up like me, you got to think of survival techniques against you guys if I ever piss you off.
Okay, speaking of survival techniques, my first roll of the night, because I'm kind of on this lore thing right now. Okay. Can I roll to know who the colorless mage of Perilland is?
Well, sure. Actually, not only that, but you'll get a +1 to your roll, or a -1 to your roll, because of your background. You have someone in your background that is Firelandic.
And weren't we recruited by Sky the Lioness during the Marquesa campaign?
You were.
And Rainmar rolled positive for lore about Marquesa.
That's true, but the connection between the two isn't necessarily well known. So go ahead and give me a 20, and I'll let you know.
A 20. Okay. 8.
This is what you know. Back in the day, there's a legend about a guy who called himself the colorless mage of Perilland. Okay. Apparently, he was a very, very powerful mage who lived in a tower, a metal tower, like a manor kind of thing, in the heights of the pass that leads into Perilland from the south. He was very difficult to find because the tower wasn't always there. People would show up and the tower wouldn't be there. So you could generally only find the guy if he wanted to be found. But you've also heard a rumor that for some reason or another he disappeared probably about 6 months ago, and he quit Perrinland and his entire retinue, house retinue, uh, went to the northeast or what northwest, I should say. What happened to him, you have no idea. But he was a very powerful mage. Supposedly, he was a force for good, but it's hard to tell. A lot of times, because he was allied with the Circle of Eight, it was difficult to say whose side he was on.
Do I know that he was an apprentice to one of the?
Yes, you know he was apprenticed to one of them, but not whom.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Probably, it's more likely than not, though, that because of the makeup of the Circle of Eight, it probably was not one of the new guys. It wasn't Alhamzad. It wasn't. It wasn't Theoden Ariason, and he hated supposedly Warren's Starcoat. He had a
But
problem with Warren's Starcoat, so
so I'm
definitely wasn't
thinking. So Rainmar's thinking Drawmij or Mordenkainen.
Big
One of
B,
those.
Big B,
Okay.
possibly. Not Jalarzi either, but
Okay.
okay, that's about it. That's
I
what you know
appreciate
about.
it.
Oh, one other thing you could know about that character. Supposedly, the colorless story comes from. He was a reverend of the goddess Istis, who is known as the colorless and all colored.
Okay.
That's where the colorless comes from, and it was a takeoff of how some people call themselves like Philidor the Blue or
Right.
whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that you do know that piece of history. God only knows why you would want to know that, but I'll let you know that. Hey, Troll Lord Games, great for thanks so much for following us. We really appreciate it. Troll Lord is just released not too long ago. The very long-awaited Memorial Tomb project. It was written by Benoit Poiret and Ernie Gygax. It was a book about really, truly, it's a Greyhawk book. It's Ernie Gygax's published hobby store dungeon that he's been running since the 70s, and a lot of people thought that project was dead in the water. Troll Lord Games helped rally the project, and it just got the first piece of it released. So, Troll
Cool.
Lords, the entire gaming community owes you guys a debt of gratitude for that. I read it a little bit of it through it myself just the other day. It looks really promising. I've got to sit back and digest it in whole. So, well done, Troll Lords. Thanks. Anyway, going back to your game, we'll begin with the first betrayal right now. When we last left our intrepid heroes, I believe that your group was now back at the Procan's Eyes. You were there at the compound again. The ship had just left to the south. Yes.
That was the fast forward. So the last episode we terminated after I lynched Melina and we started that fight in the Citadel. Then I think the last episode wrapped up
I forgot
when everybody finally Sister Automina knocked everybody's ass out.
I can't believe I forgot about that knockdown drag out brawl inside the tower. That Ultra Teresa was just watching from the top of the stairs, kind of bemusedly watching the whole crew go at it.
Oh god, that was so obnoxious.
Rainmar and Agrias, you have received updated character sheets over yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Reflecting your second level, reflecting your new abilities and your new the new scope of your character. So that's good. You are at the two of you are at the tower, Ultrasis Tower, the tower of the prismatic chrysanthemum, as it were. I'm going to use, because our caller is Agrias. I'm going to ask you, Agrias, first. What would your group like to do? The group right now that is collected is yourself. It is Rainmar. It is Sister Aramina. It's the two monks that accompany her. And your burgeoning apprentice, Lily.
And Sunny.
Sunny wasn't there. It was just Lily, wasn't it?
Sunny.
Oh, Sunny was there, yeah.
Sunny's there, yeah.
Oh, yes, I forgot Sunny was there as well. Sunny was there too.
Although they both probably have concussions still.
Yeah, actually, we'll get to that. We'll get to that depending on what Agrias tells us. Babunski, thanks so much. Again, that was really nice of you.
Um, I'm gonna ask my master if there's anything else she needs me to know or wants to talk to me with me about before we take off and head back to camp.
Yeah, she pulls you aside, actually,
Okay.
and she tells you that in 3 days from now, one of them will come for you.
Okay.
I can sense their progress through the shadow. Soon, as you become more in tune with it yourself, you'll be able to detect disturbances in the Umbra yourself. I can detect their passage through the Umbra. They muster themselves against you even now. One comes from the city of Marner to the south.
Okay.
Know this, just as Melina, she looks down over the railing down into the breadth of the tower where all the rest of the group is collected. Where young Melina and yourself, you are not yet potent in the way of shadow. You are but small fish in the ocean. The ripples you make are minuscule. This makes you more difficult to detect. One must understand the ebb and flow of the waters and the tides to sense you. This one leaves a great wake behind themselves. You should be on your guard.
I will.
She looks down at your sword, looks at you. She says that as soon as they see that, they will know.
Okay.
My existence is a very closely kept secret um, by most within the garden that know of me. There's only but a handful. They do this in a way to discredit what I do. They don't wish anyone to know that there's another way. Um, but this one will know.
I made you a promise that I'd never say anything.
She nods. She says, I'm not so concerned with that in this case. What I'm concerned about is that you understand this. They see the garden, but they see only flowers. You understand now that there's more to this. You see now the ivies and the lichens underneath the boughs and the branches. You see the grass that grows. You understand that much more of shadow than they could. They only see a fraction of it. They only comprehend a fraction of it, and now you know that. You have an advantage. This one is more powerful than you, but only in his way. You may be able to use that to your advantage.
Understood. Thank you.
She nods. I believe, she says, that you'll be proceeding southward then. Soon.
Soon. Yes, we need to aid our companions. Is it at all possible for you to reach them through the dark?
I can, but what would you like me to say?
Nothing, actually. If you could just, I'd appreciate if you just grabbed them and took them out of their current predicament.
She thinks about it for a moment. Come with me. She turns around. She walks and leads you down the stairs.
Okay.
Raymar, you're watching this. You can see Agrias following Alta Teresa. When she moves, you're more convinced than ever that she may actually be undead, that she might be a ghost, that she's not really truly alive, or
Okay.
or that maybe she's not she's not an elf in the conventional sense that you know them. She's something different. You're more convinced than ever that there's something not quite right about her. And
It-
go ahead.
Can I roll to know if she's just some sentient piece of the Underdark
Sure, go
that she?
ahead.
All right, 20.
Yeah.
Don't let me down. 11.
No, you don't get that suspicion. But what you think is that there is. Have you ever heard that Nietzsche quote that don't gaze into the abyss too long because the abyss also gazes back into you?
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible that she has uncovered some mysteries of Shadow that were maybe never meant to be known by mortals and that they've affected her in a very fundamental way.
Okay.
She has no color to her entire body other than her eyes, which are blue, piercing blue. She looks like an albino. She's got that white hair. Um, it makes that chrysanthemum pin in her hair stand out so much more. Her robes, her dark robes, stand out so much more because of it. You're wondering if actually the darkness has leached the color out of her body, possibly. I mean,
Okay.
things, and all that's left maybe is some echo of her soul, and that's what the blue eyes are. But she has definitely had something. Something has happened to her that
And
is.
you're
She's not mortal anymore. You don't think?
and you're talking that you implied before that she had been touched by the moonbow. Is it possible that that is a result of that?
It is possible. The two things could be mutually exclusive. The moonbow could affect her, and the shadow could, or it could be one or the other. Jeremy, I gave you that information about the moonbow. Grass, unless you wanted to share that with him offline, would you have shared
I
that with him?
No, and I didn't see. That's the thing. We haven't had time to talk
Okay.
about what I took notes
Then
of yet. So
you know
we
that she has probably seen the moonbow. Um, it
okay.
just it's just it it's undeniable to you that she's seen it. Um, and it, as I mentioned before, it affects people in different ways.
Mhm.
It's possible that it's very possible that Sehanine Moonbow tried to pull her into Elysium with, to her just result reward, and it pulled her soul out, but her body stayed behind. It's
Mhm.
entirely possible. It
Mhm.
or maybe it pulled some part of her out that uh, that was part of that was essential to her mortality.
Not her shadow, but what casts it instead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um. Okay. Then is she a true elf?
She has all the physical characteristics to you of a gray elf,
Okay.
for the
That's what I meant.
exception of her coloration.
That's what I meant by true elf. Yeah. Is she a gray elf?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I need Jeremy. I need you to roll me a 20-sider, please.
A 9.
One interesting thing about elves is that they do not have souls. Elves have spirits, much like animals do, rather than souls. Okay.
So bound to nature.
And yes, and there's a very important distinction. Um, as because of that, this is why people speculate that they can't be paralyzed by ghouls when they touch them.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's also why they can't be turned into certain kinds of undead when they die.
Like ghasts or
Yeah,
whatever.
you'll never see an elvish ghast or a ghoul
Mm-hmm.
unless something really weird has happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible that this is in play too, that she's some kind of weird elvish undead that people just don't know about,
Like a true shadow.
like a true shadow. There is
Yeah.
such a
Okay.
thing. There is such a thing as a creature called a shade, and there is a process that you go through. Um, it's usually reserved for very powerful magi, in which they replace the entire substance of their body with shadow stuff. Usually, what happens is there are certain magi that find becoming an undead like a lich distasteful for one reason or another. but they want to live forever so they can continue to gain in power, so they can continue to gain in because liches do not gain in level anymore, but shades can. They will become a shade just to prolong their life so they can study or they can finish some kind of task or whatever. It's She does not fit any of the characteristics of a shade because they're usually look like they're made out of shadow. But then again, with her, she could be some kind of really unusual kind. It's very
Mm.
possible that Alta Teresa is the shadow that follows her on the ground, and this is her shadow that she casts into real life.
Yeah, she's that's what I meant earlier when I said it's not the shadow, it's the thing that casts the
Yeah.
shadow.
So
So
there's a lot of possibilities with her. They're all friggin' weird, and
okay.
they're all kind of terrifying actually because of their implications of what she's capable of and how long she could live and how you know
Is Rainmore aware of the differences between ghouls, ghasts, shadows, shades?
yeah,
Is
to
that
some degree. I wouldn't say that your lore, you don't have the monster lore now weapon
okay?
proficiency, so it's not like you know every single thing about them, but you know that there's distinct types of undead that are, you know the basics.
No, that would be good enough. I was just curious. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
now Agrarius, going back to you. She takes you down the stairway to the main floor and down the stairway again into the garden area in which you guys collected the chrysanthemum petals. And again, down there, the sun is shining. It's the inside somehow, inside of the tower.
Right.
You see all the different plants growing, and there's hummingbirds buzzing around the different. The scent of honeysuckle is in the air. She walks over and to a set of wind chimes that are hanging from the bough of a branch of a tree. She looks at them and she takes one of them. It's really dinged up and kind of dented a bit. You see her take her fingernail and she just kind of cuts it with one swipe. She hands it to you. She says, "When you touch some object to this chime and create and make a sound with it, the door that you wish to open will open, but you can only use it once before it will be ruined. Be sure that you use it at the proper time."
Understood. Thank
Am
you.
am I hearing this?
Yeah, she's up. You're upstairs still.
Okay, that's fine.
So she hands it to you and she says, that is my final gift to you before you depart again. But we will see one another soon enough."
Soon enough. Yes.
Looks at your sword, looks at you, kind of smiles a bit. "It is amazing what you can know and not know at once. I've spent centuries gazing into shadow, divining its secrets and its mysteries, learning about the world that is a reflection of our world. And yet I never saw your approach. Perhaps you shone too brightly. I would never have guessed that I would have those that would represent me in the world." She looks at your chrysanthemum. "Let alone two." She kind of looks up at the ceiling. "She is different than you. More idealistic, less driven to action and more driven to knowledge. You'll have to act as more than a brother to her, than more as a shepherd."
I give you my word. We will do right by you.
"I know. Now you must go," she says. Day grows short. You have many leagues to travel.
I bow deeply and then just start walking back upstairs.
She turns over and she starts tending at her garden downstairs. As you walk upstairs, you realize a certain symmetry um, that you didn't really think about before. Your monastery is the garden, yet she has her own garden here. And there's an implication there that perhaps you never thought about before. What really is the purpose of that garden? Maybe it's got a deeper purpose than just growing chrysanthemums.
Okay.
So anyway, Raymar, you and the rest of the group are upstairs. You're preparing for your journey, and Agrias comes upstairs. He's putting something in his pocket as he's heading upstairs. Go ahead, Agrias. What are you going to do?
It's time to leave, guys. Pack up.
Sonny and Lily nod. Sister Aramina and the monks kind of stand up. They were all sitting down on the floor. Raymar?
I'm ready. I mean, I've already been ready. So I'm
Melina looks at you and she says, as we leave, perhaps we can discuss what our plans moving forward will be. The ship has already gone to the south to deal with our companions. Are we to reinforce them?
Not yet. I want to look at underneath our fortress when we get back to camp.
She nods.
What do you think about the
Your whole group is leaving, by the way. You're going down that long pass from the tower in the mountains, going down to the
how far? So just because we don't have the map in front of us, how far are we from? Calissa and Trotty had directed us to a place on the map where this helm was,
right.
and how adjacency here? How far?
If you were to go there and go directly south, not back to camp, you could probably be there in about a day, you figure.
Where the helm is.
The helm. However, judging from what you know about the region, that area is liable to be crawling with humanoids. It may be one of those situations where that if you brought your entire group, you might it might be a situation better suited for a small army than a group like yourselves. Or then again, if you went stealthily, maybe your group would be the way to go. But in either case, it's going to be crawling with humanoids.
How? So we're a day from camp and we're a day from the helm.
Yep. There's like a triangle.
And if the helm is directly south of the citadel that we're at now,
more or less,
and then the camp is east, more or less, to the water,
you'd be dealing with maybe about a day and a quarter
to redirect. Yeah, that's what I'm okay. Yeah. That's okay because I've got the cartography
in your mind, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I mean from Rainmark, from the first couple episodes, I had
I got you. What you mean?
Okay, I'm trying to role play the sheet.
Yeah. So are you going to suggest to Agrias that you go to the south to the helm?
Well, I've already made my, what our possibilities known to him. I mean, I've conveyed that, so it's really up to him if he wants to go back to the camp now. I'm down with that. I'm happy to talk to Calissa and Trotty, and we can be better prepared to go get the helm, or we can go get the helm now.
Agrias and Raymar, as you guys are walking down the Agrias, you're noticing that Lily and Sonny are having a conversation between the two of them, where Sonny is saying to Lily, the kind of conversation they're having, I'm going to do it right now. He'll be impressed. I need to impress him. No, you don't need to impress him. Wait until he tells you to do something before you do it. That'll impress him, that you can follow orders.
Do I hear this?
Yeah, you hear this. Actually, you're right next to him when they're saying this. Rainmar, the conversation is about Sunny wants to go ahead and scout because she's like, we're thieves now. That's what we're supposed to do. Well, Agrias didn't tell us to do that. Maybe he wants to do something else. You should wait until he tells you to do something before you do it. But he's going to be impressed if I just do it on my own, if I show initiative. That's what Brixton would tell us to do. But he's not Brixton. That's the problem.
That's not a problem. That's the advantage.
So you're hearing that conversation being had right now. Rainmar, are you going to interject at all?
I have a metagame question.
Of course.
So do we know we've got 3 monks with us,
Yes, you do.
and we have 2 multi-class thieves.
Mm-hmm.
Which of them is more effective as a thief?
Probably Sunny, actually, right now.
More than Sister Artemina?
Oh. Compared to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sister Artemina is the more accomplished thief.
Okay. Nope. Not saying anything.
Okay.
That's it? Okay. All right, so we're going to head to the helm that Kalissa put on our map.
Everybody kind of looks at you. Sunny and Lily. You hear Lily whisper over to Sunny, I told you. Sunny looks a little put out, but that's all right. They
God, I hope she doesn't put out.
They look.
Yeah, go on.
They look at you, and Agrias, the Nolish monk about Karak, looks at you and says, "That area is likely to have many, many, many guardians. How do you wish to approach the situation? En masse, or do you wish to spread out?"
Is there something you feel we should lean more towards in that predicament?
He doesn't. He shakes his head no. He says, "I see."
I'm speaking in knowledge, by the way.
What's that?
I'm speaking in Knoll.
Oh, okay. Well, he starts speaking in Knoll back. He says, "I see value in both ways." He says, "My former brothers and sisters, knowing them, if we're to find them, they will be en masse. Therefore, if we are in mass as well, we are better suited to contend with them. However, we may slip by them we may not have to fight them at all if it's more spread out." He looks at you and says, "I can see both approaches working."
Agrias, how accurate is the map? Oh, wait, it's in my journal. I opened the journal. Never mind. I opened the journal. Kalissa and Trotty, she's pinpointed this location for the helm.
Mm-hmm.
How accurately?
You suspect that, looking at the map, because the map has a couple other side notes on it. One is one says the Battle of Three Peaks on it. There's a little X on it. It shows where a battle was fought. The other one is this is where Lord Kernek fell. Another little sign over here. So you're getting the impression that it might be pretty accurate.
Let's do it.
En masse.
En masse. Okay. Sunny and Lily Sunny looks up at you. She goes, "What would you like me to lead?"
Yeah, I would like you and Sunny to scout ahead.
They both nod at each other. "Okay. Let's go, sis." They both, the gnomes, start walking away.
How close are we to a full moon?
Being that I just rolled a 20,
Jesus.
Luna will be full tonight. Celine will not.
Okay. But it only takes one.
Yes, it only takes one. And that's the thing about the World of Greyhawk that people underestimate that makes lycanthropes even nastier is you have double the chance for a full moon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have even discussed with you what happens when both are full.
Right.
So anyway,
Okay, but one full moon could work to our advantage. I'm trying to decide whether we should be. So if she can turn and we can move at night, we might be a little bit better off. And it sounds like you're talking, this is Knoll country. This is on the edge of the Bone March.
this is on the edge of the Bone March.
And we're talking about Knoll country, not necessarily Orc country. It's both.
Probably both, but more Gnollish than Orcish. The
Okay.
problem is with Gnolls and Orcs are that by nature, Orcs are chaotic. I mean, are lawful, while Gnolls are chaotic, and as a result, they don't mix very well.
Yeah.
They tend to, if they're not being guided by a powerful master, they'll turn on each other.
I'm gonna send. I'm gonna order Monty ahead to scout with the two little gnome
Okay.
sluts.
Monty starts, kind of prancing away with, after the two of them. Monty, you've been gone, like I said, a little bit of time. Monty is about the size of a Great Dane right now.
Jesus.
She's getting big. You've been taking good care of her. She is not just big, height wise, but she's actually really stout as well. You think that she could take a pretty significant hit right now and still live?
Okay. And the
Bryce, I
armor
was
is
telling Rainmar yesterday, I was doing the statistical work on Monty, and I actually rolled full hit points for her hit die. She's getting big, fast, and strong.
Sweet.
Yes.
What does the armor give her? That's a +1?
No, it's actually a +2.
Okay, so what's her AC then?
6 right now. Or excuse me, it's 6 because normal warg AC is 7. I reduced that to 8 because of her youth, but because of the barding, it's +2, so she's at 6.
Okay, got it.
She doesn't do as much damage with her bite as a normal warg will, as a full-grown warg would, but she does more than she should at her size.
Right,
At
got
her
it.
age.
Got it.
So she goes running off with them. Sister Armina, you and the remainder of the monks continue on forward. What kind of tactics are you going to take to remain stealthy, or aren't you, as you go forward through the mountains?
Light-footed as much as possible.
Okay.
Try and speak, either with whispering or
Hand signals.
hand signals.
When you speak, are you going to speak in a certain language?
Yeah,
Are you guys
probably.
going to, what language will you speak to one another in?
What do we have that's universal between us? Gnollish. Almost everyone here speaks Gnollish.
And common.
And
Yeah.
Gnollish in Knoll country is probably not the best language to use.
Everyone here pretty much speaks Orcish. Everyone speaks Dwarven, I believe.
Sonny and Lily speak Dwarven. They don't both speak Orcish, do they?
No, they do not. Neither
Yeah.
of them speak Orcish, but I was only considering the people that are walking with you. They're scouting ahead, so.
Orcish is fine with me. I don't.
Okay. The group is speaking in Orcish as you go.
Perfect.
Brother Karak is, he's actually a little bit, whereas the girls are maybe 300 yards ahead, he's about 150 yards ahead, and you can see him pausing. He's looking at rocks, or he'll look at a tree real carefully. It's clear to him he's looking for different signs that he knows about Gnollish or Orcish behavior that would be markings and things like territorial markings.
Right.
The one thing that is impossible for you two to miss about Orcish and Gnollish markings is Sonny and Lily come back about maybe an hour into your trip southwards. The mountains are ascending higher. It's getting cooler. The air is getting colder. The wind is picking up. Sonny and Lily come back about an hour later. You figure by now your elevation You can look down on the countryside from where you are, and you figure you're maybe about 700 feet above the forest area. You're starting to get pretty high up there. They come back and they tell you, Agrias, we found something. There's a sign of a battle up front. It looks like it's not too long ago, because there's still meat on some of the bodies. But I see we found or Sonny jumps in. Yeah, there's orcs there. There's some gnolls. I saw a couple humans in there.
Mm, do I hear this?
Yeah, you're all together now. And
How far?
she
How
goes.
far ahead?
She looks over and she says, "Sonny." She goes, "Lily, draw the picture." Lily pulls out a small quill and a piece of parchment, and she draws a flag. It's a black flag with a white circle in the middle, with a black skull and crossbones on it. There's a flag there that's on the ground, and this is what it looks like.
Do you want us to roll to know what it is?
Nah, none of you would know what it is.
All right.
Also known as an impossible feat. Okay, we can. I want to work the bodies, but I need somebody to move ahead of me to check traps so I don't walk into something. Where's Monty?
We volunteer. Sonny and Lily say almost in unison.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want Monty working ahead. I need a threat ahead of me, so I'll put Monty
Little
ahead.
ones, I appreciate your bravery, but I think that this is a job best suited for myself.
Agreed.
Sister Armina looks over at you.
Yeah.
The two of you. She says, if this is truly a battlefield, there could be the restless dead among them.
Okay, I want Melina and Arumina around Rangmar on the field.
She nods. Melina stands over there. She pulls her sword. Looks over.
I don't.
Raymar and just nods.
I don't pull out a sword. I'm gonna stay. Yeah, I'm gonna approach it more in a scouting mentality for now.
Okay. Rainmar, Sister Armina, and Melina are. Do I have this right? Are going to scout ahead then?
Arumina's gonna scout ahead from
Before
what?
anyone. Okay.
Yeah. And
Armina starts going ahead.
Rangmar.
And are you holding your position, or are you moving up while she's scouting?
Are you talking to Rangmar or me?
I'm talking to everybody.
Everyone besides, so Arumina's going to be ahead scouting with Monty. Melina's going to be next to Rangmar, and Sonny and Lily are going to be with the rest of us behind them.
Okay. So you're heading forward, letting them get ahead. Rainmar, you're the first one to see it as in about 5 minutes as you're proceeding ahead. Monty comes walking back through the mountain, the track going up.
Okay.
And Monty stops right at your feet and looks up at you. Those green foxfire eyes just kind of burning as she looks in the air. She goes, "Orcs."
Which could just mean she's hungry. I'm gonna feed her something I just happen to have on me.
They are eclectic hobbies. They are. David Aho just tuned in.
So that'll be my. Hey, what's up, David? I'm gonna work. Give her a little snack, and then I want to work forward toward the bodies. I feel like I have enough firepower here that I can check the bodies, and I've got Melina and Arumina should be enough to.
Agrias, you're close enough to see Rainmar. He kneels down and feeds Monty. It's interesting now getting a scope for how big that wolf cub is getting, and the violence with which she eats is is pretty noticeable to you now.
So romantic.
When she eats, it's almost like she wants to take off Rainmar's hand when he feeds it to her. And when she eats, it's such a violent act. I mean, you've seen You've seen, for example, Tobias eat, and it's maybe even worse than that. She looks like she wants to hurt her food before she eats it.
Good girl.
So she eats
Way to
it,
do it.
and the whole group heads up further. Raymar, are you going to say? Are you going to signal anything back to the group? Are you going to say anything, or just
No,
gonna head
because
off?
I've got Melina and Sister Automina and the ward cub. I'm just gonna start looking through the bodies. I mean,
Well,
And we're
you're
all
not quite there yet.
okay.
Agrias, did you say you want? I just saw you signal. You want to do anything?
yeah. When we get over the ridge to this battlefield, we're all speaking with hand signals.
Okay. So this is what you see. Agrias, or Raymar, you're there first. Rainmar, you show up, and the first thing you see is there's a ridge. Okay. You can't see above it. You just see the remainder of the mountain ascending. So you know that there's sort of it plateaus off for a while, like in a field area, before
Mhm.
the mountain goes up higher. Sister Aramina is sitting behind a set of rocks, and she looks at you, and she goes,
Okay.
Molina kind of crouches down with you, starts, the whole group goes up there, and in Orcish, she looks back at you and she goes, "Did you get the message?" She looks
Did
down at
I?
Monty.
Oh yeah, that there was orcs. Yeah.
She sent Monty back to relay the message. She looks at you and she says, "Over that ridge is where the battlefield is. There are things there. I saw at least 2 orcs that look like they're rummaging the battlefield, but I think they're looting. It's hard to tell. But where there's 2, there's likely to be 20.
Um, are they within range? Are they in bow range?
Oh, she says, as you were to lift your head over this rock, they're only 50 feet away.
Bust out my bow.
Well, hold
Agrias,
on.
you're coming up the path with the rest of the group now, and you see Sister Aramina, Rainmar. The rest of the group is low. They're crouched down. Melina looks at you and gives you the hush sign. She points up over the ridge. She
What
gives you the
is
orc tusk symbol.
what is near? So there's no bodies where I'm standing with Sister
No, not
Automina.
yet. No.
Okay, so what I'm going to suggest is if we know that there's 2 already,
Yeah.
and I'm shooting 3 for 2, and Sister Automina's got the crossbow. As
And
soon as
Melina, you also see, puts her sword back in favor of her bow.
as soon as I see Agrias, as soon as I can lock eyes with Agrias, he's going to see me drawn, and I'm just waiting to turn over the rock. And if there's 2 or 3 orcs available, then I'll save my 2 for the next round, and I'll use 1 on this round.
Okay.
And I'm just going to wait
Melina
for
does the
Agrias.
same, and you see Sister Aramina get herself ready with her crossbow. Agrias, you come up into the area, you see all 3 of them looking at you.
Okay, so just to be clear, I'm waiting for Agrias to greenlight this
Right.
fucking
Oh,
thing.
yeah, exactly. I knew that's what you were doing.
And I'm not firing. We're not all going to fire at 2 friggin' orcs.
Okay.
That's just a waste of ammunition.
Sure.
So I'm going to come over. I can probably drop them both myself, but we're going to line this up. It's going to be a symphony.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna crawl up to the, walk up, crouching, grab my bow, and give him and then go over all at once.
Okay. So, this is what happens. You're all about beneath the ridge. The whole crew is there, okay, at this point in time. You 2 have your bows. Melina has her bow. All 3 monks have their light crossbows. And you see Sunny and Lily are there with their daggers. The whole crew is ready to lay fire there.
Do this in waves.
You've discussed the plan to go in waves.
Agrias, we're going to do this in waves. So Sister Automina and I are going to shoot first. Depending on the result we get, You guys are going to hold fire until the next round so that we can see what them going down, because we're probably not going to fail to kill an orc. I mean, it's probably going to kill one of them at least. So we want to wait for the result. If the result is more of them pop up, you guys are already ready to fire rather than everybody firing at 2 orcs. Then we have to reload next round and there's an initiative. And no.
Yeah, that's how I understood it. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, Rainmar.
Yeah. Already.
You pop up over the side. I need you to roll me a 6-sider. Oh, wait. I take that back. An 8. Make that an 8-sider.
Make up your mind, man.
I just did. I did.
7.
Okay.
And for my shot, I get a bonus for surprise.
That's what I was rolling, is to see if you surprised them.
Oh, okay.
You come over the top, and as you come over the top, this is what you see. You see an area of about maybe, it's probably about 150 yards, kind of like an oval area. There's a lot of rocks and scrub in this area, but it's littered with bodies. It was clearly a small battle was fought here. It looks like probably about maybe 25 bodies around here. Gnoll bodies, orc bodies, as Sonny and Lily said, a couple human bodies. There's 2 orcs that are kind of milling around. One of them's got a rusty sword, and he's kind of picking and poking up like helmets and things like that. Kind of grumbles to the other one. The other one's kind of knocking around something. Raymar, the last thing you hear them say before you let fire is one of them says to the other one, he goes, I wish Gareth would do some of his dirty work himself. So what did you ever do to him, anyway?
So I rolled surprise.
Yes, you did.
And so I can hold my fire.
You could, but Sister Aramina is also in play. You're going to have to stop her from firing if you want her to hold her fire.
Yeah.
Okay, you put your hand up, and
if she shoots through my hand, I'll kill her.
She manages not to pull a trigger. She ducks back down. Do you do the same?
I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah, he goes, I didn't do anything to him, I swear. He goes, it's because of my brothers.
Okay.
What'd your brothers ever do to him? Oh, they never liked each other ever since they were born. They knew him growing up.
Where's Monty?
Right at your heel, and her eyes are just burning holes into the rock. It's like she can almost see through the rock at me.
Settle down. Go around.
She starts skulking around kind of flying.
Okay, listen very carefully. We just had a surprise round. We got a little bit of information. They are unaware of us. Is there anything else that I can see before we turn this into Benny's bath of blood?
Give me one last 20-sider.
That was a 14.
Okay. No, that was it.
Okay, so there's no more orcs.
That you can see, no.
Well, settle down there, DM. What I want to know is, did any of these other idiots in my group roll a perception for more orcs down there?
Roll me a 20.
Come on, man. I mean, it's just...
Do you need high or low?
I need low.
Okay. Watch him roll a 20.
5.
Agrias is the only one that passed that check. Agrias, up in the mountain area, on the other side of the 150 feet, there was something gleaming. There's metal, and it was moving. And it then disappeared up behind the thing.
Okay, I look at Rangmar and point over at the ridge and slightly unsheath my blade and point at the shiny metal part.
Hey, I found something over here. I hope it's something good.
Hang on. Okay, this is so. Agrias sees a shiny thing across. Does
Further,
it?
the 100 feet oval, it's on the other side of 100 feet oval, up the mountains a little bit. It was moving kind of behind a piece of rock that disappeared behind it. There's clearly another ridge over there on the other side of it that's higher up, that's more elevated. And it was visible just for a little while, and now it's gone.
Can I roll to make out the shape of it?
Yeah, go ahead.
High or low?
Low.
Okay. 8.
Of course. Yeah, it was helmet shaped.
Helmet shape. Okay. I look at Rangmar and go,
shiny.
Hey, did you hear something? No, I didn't hear anything. It's probably your imagination.
I start walking down toward the two orcs, no weapons drawn whatsoever, but I am drunk out of my mind. I mean, I can just barely stand up, and I'm singing in Orcish about.
Is that my imagination too? They all look over at you. The two of them look at you. You both pull out their bows.
You guys better have my back on the. Hey, little brother.
Who in the hell are you?
And,
okay, I'm behind the rock and I'm looking at everyone like.
Okay, hold on. What was the name of the guy's brother?
Garfok.
I'm a friend of Darfuck. He sent me to talk to you guys. See,
he looks at you. He says, Garfok, there's somebody here to see you. You hear a voice from up top echoing. Keep your voice down, you idiot. He goes, do you want to bring down 100 gnolls on us? There's a human here who wants to see you.
Listen.
If you're drunk again, I swear. Comes over the. You see Agrias coming over the ridge. There's a very, very large orc. He's wearing black leather armor. It's kind of got like things have been driven through the inside of it out, so it's spiked all over the place. He's got a bow in his hand, very large sword. Looks over at you. Goes, who the hell are you?
I'm a friend.
He looks at you. He looks at those orcs. He goes, how long have you known me?
Well, I have only known you for a couple of seconds.
Since we were young. He goes, you know I don't have any friends. Kill that one.
No, wait. And I'm not doing anything threatening at all. There's no threatening movement. In fact, if you want me to roll charisma, I will, because I'm playing a very. You guys better kill these guys if they even aim at me.
Roll me a percentage.
23.
They look at you like they look back at Garfok and look at you.
I have a lot of money, and I would like to hire you to help me find something that I lost out here when I was drinking. That was back when I was drinking.
How the hell do I know you, first of all?
Well, there was that bloody mess a few months ago. We were both drunk out of our minds. I mean, you maybe don't remember because it was a long night of grog and well, orcish women.
Are you with Tharvis's group?
I probably was. How would I know? I mean, I was out there killing my way through gnolls, as you know, because that's a problem for us, right?
Are you here with him?
No, I'm on my own. Today I'm on my own. I lost an object out here. I'll give you guys 10 gold a piece if you just help me find it.
He goes, Garfok, I don't see anything really down here. Shut up, you're thinking again. He looks at you.
Good.
Come closer. What's your name, human?
Well, I'm only part human. Okay.
You see him turn his head, and he starts saying something, kind of whispering. Looks like behind the ridge.
That's very rude. The whispering is rude.
Keep talking. I'm listening to you, human.
I flick him a gold piece. Just like this.
Flickamagopes.
And here's the thing. There's a lot more where this comes from if you'll help me find my helmet that I lost.
Agrias? Is he serious? You hear Lily say. You're looking
Okay.
for a helmet.
I'm looking for a helmet. It's my helmet.
We'll look at you.
I lost it
What's
up
this
here.
helmet look like, human?
Judge, real quick.
Go ahead, Agrias.
I'm going to put my hood on so I can see in the dark. Just can I roll? If I do that, can I make out exactly where they are on the other side of the rock?
You close your eyes and start thinking. You start projecting your senses through the shadows, trying to find the sources of light that kind of gleam to you in the shadow. Make me a 20-sider.
High or low?
Low. Psych high.
13.
All right. You're thinking about it. You're concentrating. You see Rainmar. You see the two orcs. You see Garfok. Oh, no. There's like 40 orcs behind that ridge. They're dotting your senses all over. You see Monty circling, getting up the ridge, and looks like she's trying to find a high ground.
Okay, I put my hand up to Arumina
Uh-huh.
and put 4-0 and point at the ridge on the other side.
You see her take a deep breath and just shake her head. Melina looks at you. She shrugs. Kind of pulls at her bow again.
And I give him kind of the signal to just wait. Let's see where Rangmar's taking this.
Agrias, make me a percentage die. Or a 20.
A 20, yes, sir.
Yeah, a 20.
3.
Sunny is missing.
God damn
And
it.
I'm going to I'm going to use my my charisma, my drunken ploy, and the little bit of history I have with this guy because we did fight all those orcs months back. And ask him, how many guys do you have around here that might be able to help me find this helm? I'll pay all you guys well.
Depends on how much money you have.
Well, on me, and I'm drunk. I'm dropping copper pieces and silver and
Guy looks down at him. One of the orcs looks out. He looks back at Gafang or at Gafak. He says, shrugs his shoulders. Send the human up here. I want to talk to him face to face.
Who's this?
That's what Gafak says.
Oh yeah, I'll talk to that
One of
face
the
to
orcs
face.
comes over and says, supposed to take you up to see the boss.
Well, nobody takes me anywhere. I go on my own.
He says, I'm walking with you, human.
If you put your hands on me,
Then what?
I might have to pay you extra.
He smiles. A little bit of tusks appear over his mouth. Says, you better be careful. He goes, if you have treachery on your mind, he goes, there's 60 of my brothers and sisters over that ridge.
The only treachery I have on my mind is for the gnolls of this area.
He laughs a little. He goes, huh. He goes, you just might impress Gafak with that kind of talk. Come here. Says, so how do you know him anyway? With Thalvis's group? Is that what you said?
Well, I may have been a while back.
Leading you through these dead bodies everywhere. He kicks at one of the bodies. In particular, kicks at you notice there's an arrow stuck in it. It's black shafted. Those your groups?
What's he asking me? I don't understand.
Is that your groups? Did you do this?
The arrows?
Yeah.
Well, I had friends passed way through here a day ago, but I don't know if these are my people. The arrow doesn't look familiar.
He looks over at your bow and your arrows. He just stops for a second. Says, he goes, Gufak must have given you these. Points at your arrows, the barbed arrows.
That was months ago when we were hunting together.
Hmm.
Although we were pretty drunk, he might even want these arrows back, if I'm telling you the truth.
Be careful when you speak to him. He goes, he's very irritable today.
So am I. That's why I started drinking.
He leads you all the way up. Patrick, you and the group see this. Make me a 20, Patrick.
Oh, God damn it. 11.
Sunny is hidden in the shadows. She's on the other side of the 150-foot clearing, right by the rocks. Okay? She is using her climb walls ability to go up the rocks on the ridge right now. While Rainmar and everyone else is distracted, while Rainmar is distracting them, she's actually climbing up, getting herself into position. You can see she's got her dagger in her mouth. She looks back at your group and just kind of wags her eyebrows and keeps climbing up.
Is there a way I can get the rest of the crew to go get to that ridge while he's distracting the orcs without being seen?
Maybe you could get somebody over there that's small and stealthy, or you could get somebody that's stealthy over there, like Sister Armina herself could do it, or Lily could. You don't think that you or Melina would be a good choice because you're a heavy armor, but
Okay, I'll send Lily and Automina to join Sunny and Rangmar,
they both nod.
giving them, hand signals and go, go.
You do realize that I'm trying not to fight these orcs. I'm trying to recruit them.
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I'm very aware of that. Yes.
Okay.
You smell something funny? One of the two orcs says to each other. No. It must be the human, he says.
Hey, guys, come on.
They keep digging through the...
I showered last month.
I don't need to talk to you anymore. You talk to Gufak.
Now, I wish you'd stop talking to me.
Looking at you,
Yes.
snarls.
And I snarl back.
Okay, so there's a small pathway that leads up to the ridge, and you're walking that way. Rainmar, make me a 20.
And that's a 20.
You walk right past Sunny. You see her. She's in the cracks of the rocks. She's got her dagger out. She's holding it up to her chest. She looks over at you.
Damn it, Sunny.
She just sits there like that. You walk right past her, up into the ridge. When you walk over the ridge, this is what you see. There's a bunch of small impromptu lean-tos that have been made out of looks like some fallen trees and stuff like that. So mostly scrub and things like that. They're spread out over this area that's about as big as the 150-foot area down below it. You count off the top of your head probably about 30 orcs that you can see.
Okay.
They're all cooking, or they're talking to each other. You hear some squabbling, a little bit of they made camp here.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Gufak is standing there at the top of the ridge. He looks at you. He goes, "That's close enough, human." About maybe 20 feet from you.
All right. Okay. You guys having a hard day or something?
Don't worry about what kind of day I'm having. Let's talk business. You're looking for a helmet.
Yeah, I'm looking for a helmet in these hills. I lost the damn thing.
What's it look like?
I have the drawing, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Instead of showing him the drawing, I'm going to explain what I drew.
Okay. He thinks about it for a second. Make me a percentage die. You see a couple. You see a couple orcs are running up towards a Gufak from the camp. What? So you start describing it to him. He stops about halfway. It looks like he's going to say something. Hey, Gufak! Two of them look. He looks over at these. I'm talking business. What do you want?
Stop interrupting.
He goes, stop! You don't make any decisions around here. He looks at you.
Well, I should. I'm
I'm chief.
Orkin.
He goes, you're just visiting. I'm
Hey.
chief. Never forget that.
I'm as much of an orc as you guys are. I grew up with orcs in these hills.
You talk orc like you're a gnoll. He says.
Yeah, well, I talk Knoll like I'm an orc.
He looks confused for a second. He goes,
Should be. I'm confused as hell.
he goes, there must be a warg den over here. He goes, me and Brashas just found a warg over here, a cub. Oh?
Ooh.
Gufak says, yeah, he goes, I think it, it seems like, it seems like it wants to, pretty big for a cub. I think we could take it.
Now, wait a second.
Make sure, go ahead and put it over in Grasak's, place. He goes, we'll deal with it in a bit. He goes, I want to finish talking business. He nods. He goes, should we feed it? He goes, no, let it go hungry. They're meaner when they're hungry.
Oh, you have no idea. I mean, yeah. Okay, I try not to laugh, seriously, because she's not the kind of warg that you cuddle up with, you know?
So anyway, what are you going to do?
I'm offering them 1 gold piece per day each if they can help me find this helm that I lost.
He goes, there are 55 of us here. He looks at you. And you want to give us 1 gold per day.
I think you can find it today.
He looks over at your change purse. He goes, I don't think that's big enough.
That's something I have never heard before.
He laughs a bit and then just stops. He says,
and I said, fine, I'll start with this. And I toss him the coin purse. And the coin purse is probably, how much do I have in there? I'm not tossing him my coin purse. I got a lot of friggin' money in there.
Yes, you do.
Okay. I give him, well, I've already given him a gold coin. I've proven my worth. I speak Orcish better than he does. Come on.
He looks at you. He looks at you and he says,
I'm sick of this shit.
You pay 2 gold, all of us, first day in advance. He goes, he thinks for a second, he goes, that 90 gold, right?
I'm not really a accountant or a banker, but I'll tell you what. You got anything to eat around here? I'm looking over at the guys that are cooking and shit.
He looks at you. He says, he goes, you don't know eat for free. He says, we look for your helmet. He goes, but you pay right now, 90. He goes, I know what that helmet is.
You do?
Oh yeah. The legends about this helmet.
Okay, here's how it's going to be. 80 gold. I always negotiate when I'm drunk, and I always negotiate in Orcish.
Thinks about it. Goes, Razak, get over here. You two up here now.
Charisma.
He looks over at you.
Okay, 79 gold, and that's my final offer.
80 gold, like you say. We have a deal.
78 gold. I agree.
Goes, the next 2 are coming out the back of your teeth.
Oh my god, you are an orc.
He looks over at the 3. He says, this fool of a human. Take him out to the peak. Go start looking there. He says, I think you know where those big rocks are, where I say not to go? They all look at each other. Yeah, yeah. take him there. He should know what to do when he gets there. He looks over at you. He says, I hope you know what you're doing, human. Because that's dangerous, very dangerous area.
That's why I hired Orkkin.
Well then, he says, go get your brothers, he says. He looks at him. Take them with you.
My brothers
He looks
aren't
over
here.
at you. He goes, 8 should do, yeah? The rest of us will have camp here.
Patrick, you do understand that I'm breaking their numbers into smaller groups so they're easier to kill, right?
Yeah, stealth kills, dude. I got it. I'm with
Okay.
you.
It's just making sure that we're on the same page here. Okay.
Raymar, in about 3 or 4 minutes, the whole group is broken into. They've got about 8 orcs. They're fully armored, such as that they are. They're in this ramshackle black leather armor. They've got short bows and arrows, and they're wielding a variety of weapons. None of them are really in good shape, but they're pretty menacing looking. The one looks at you, goes, "I'm Brazak." He goes, "I'm going to take you up to the big rocks."
I'm called Rainmar.
Goes,
The Wild Light.
"We are not friends." He goes, "I don't care what they call you."
Well, then I don't give a
Turns
shit
around,
what they
starts
call
walking
you
up
either.
into the mountains. He goes, "You keep up, or you get left behind."
I purposely am a little bit slower than they are, trying to
Raymar,
keep
make me a
up.
20.
14.
Okay.
I'm purposely
All you see is that Sunny is not where she was before.
okay. I'm purposely trying to keep up, but always lagging a little bit behind. I want them to perceive me as kind of being harmless,
Yeah.
and maybe a little dumb, maybe a little bit.
Make me another percentage die.
That's 16.
Rainmar, you notice that they are going out of their way to make sure that they have you surrounded at all times.
Okay.
They are leading Agrias. The last you see of Rainmar before he disappears in the distance is 8 orcs leading him up higher into the mountains. He disappears behind some rocks, and the whole group is gone.
Do I see how many of the orcs there are surrounding him?
Yeah, you counted 8.
8. Okay. Is there any way I can make it around? The rest of us can make it around the ridge undetected.
No way. No way. There was one creature that could, but that creature already left. That would be Monty.
Got it. Okay.
Grias, you hear the sound from your left at a distance of maybe about, well, hard to say, but probably about 100 yards or more. This low growling sound and some barking in Orcish back and forth.
Can I make it out?
6-sider.
3.
Oh, you're a feisty one. He goes, you'll make a good prize for Garak. Just calm down. He goes, get the net. Get the net.
Oh, buddy, you're about to find out something horrible. I mean, dude.
Circle it.
She has more hit points than all of those orcs together that are trying to capture her.
They don't even know yet.
Oh, dude. This is
Can I see this over the hedge?
No, you can just hear it. If you wanted to move over, you could see it, but you might risk being out in the open. Will you take that risk?
No, because I think Monty is going to be okay.
Okay. Are you going to keep listening to it?
Monty, I thought you were going to go help those poor orcs that are about to get slaughtered by that dog.
That might be a way to play.
The rest of the group is looking at you, Grias, like, what now? The group is Rainmar is long gone now.
Okay. Um, can I tell how many different voices? You said there's about 8 around Monty?
Yeah, it sounds like that.
Okay, I'm going to look at Melina and the other 2 and the 2 monks with me, and I'm going to nod at the noises where Monty is and put my hand over my mouth and slice my throat for silent kills.
Okay. You do that. As you guys get closer to the ridge, who's at the front? Who's going to lead the group? You?
Yeah.
You're at the front of the group, and you kind of go around the corner. Make me a 6.
A 6, okay. 1.
As you come around the corner, what you actually see this, and you manage to get into a place where you don't think that they can see you, kind of around the corner of all this. You see these orcs surrounding Monty. Monty's up against the back of the rocks, and sure, all the fur on her back is up. She's growling, her green eyes. She's got a little foam coming out of her mouth. Her green eyes are just burning.
And she says,
The first thing you hear, yeah, she's going, orcs die. Yeah. She hear them. They kind of are looking at each other like, what the hell is this demon dog?
and she's armored.
And that is the thing. One of them looks at each other, the other one goes, Vorsak, what is that on her back? It looks like a sword. This isn't one of these wolves that can turn into a person, is it?
Oh, now they're freaked out.
Garak sure would send us against something like that. Think. Do you have anything silver?
Oh, that's not even going to hurt her.
They all shake each other's heads. Stay here. I'll go back and talk to Garak and see what he wants to do. Because this is not good. Agrias,
Nope. It's only 7 now.
The whole group has got their backs to you. You're still at a distance of probably about 70 feet. Do you want to try?
That's a long shot.
Do you want to get?
Is he walking in my direction?
No, he's walking
back to
your
camp.
right, relatively speaking. Kind of walking up a little bit, an incline.
So I'm gonna send the knoll to just go snap his neck quietly.
Sister Artemina, bro.
She's with you, man.
She's with Sonny.
Oh,
or
right.
Lily, I should say.
Yeah, Sonny and Lily.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me and the 2 brother monks and Melina.
Oh, just like you guys aren't lethal.
He looks at you, he nods. He kind of walks and you see him really quietly up against the rocks. He's playing the shadows, the angle of the shadows, it seems like. It's hard to kind of get a read on where he is sometimes, except for someone like you who is super aware of shadow.
Are you guys all closing in on this group? Because there's only 7 now, right?
Yeah, there's only 7.
And that's 5 against 7.
You see the knoll go higher and higher into the rock area. Patrick, I'll let you roll for him. Make me a 6.
Yes, sir. 4.
With his dexterity, that makes it.
Mm-hmm.
You hear some rock shifting for a second. He turns around, and by the time he turns around, the monk's fist is right in his face. You see him hit him. He tries to get something out of his mouth, and when he does, he has his 2 fingers up underneath his jaw. You see him puncture right up through the jaw. You see him go out through the mouth. And he tries to scream, but he's holding him by the jaw and just rips his jaw straight off of his face.
What is wrong?
Collapses in a heap of blood on the ground.
Come on, guys. I'm trying to make friends.
The rest of the orcs are still standing there on the ground.
What does Monty do? That's what I
Tarak looks over at you. Agrias from his position just nods. It kind of disappears back into the shadow, dragging the body over his shoulder with him into the shadows.
This
That
guy's
was-
my new best friend.
That was the guy that was headed back to the
That was
camp.
the guy who was heading back to camp. Monty is sitting there. Monty
So
looks over and says the following. Looks over at you and says, you, in common, you will all, then in Orcish, die soon. Rainmar will kill you all.
She's right
And
about that.
I will eat your insides.
She's right. Did she roll an intelligence check for that knowledge? Because she's right.
Grias, you would be really impressed by one thing if it were for the fact that she's so horrifying right now. She doesn't know enough vocabulary, but you realize she said that like one word in Elvish, one word in Gnome, one word in Common, one word in Orcish. She's been listening to all of you and is picking up all your, because you all speak in these weird, she's picking up all these languages and she just try to throw it all together in one sentence.
So she speaks kind of a weird common.
Yeah,
Weird, kind of,
a weird kind of portmanteau
Emily
of
Rose
languages. And the orcs are looking at her like, you think you'll be back? You think Varas will be back soon? I hope.
Not soon enough to help you guys.
Throw the
So,
net
I mean,
at her.
Patrick, honestly, I like my odds here. I mean, I would put all the money in the world on the fact that you and Melina could ghost these guys. Not to mention,
Net.
you've got two monks and Monty.
Throw the net at her.
So-
all right. See, one of the orcs come walking up. He's got this big black net. She looks at it and smiles. She goes, come to your death.
God, I love her so much.
Oh my god. Okay. So I look over at Melina and what's the other brother's name? Not the Knoll?
The
Johan.
other, yeah, Jonas.
Jonas?
Mhm.
I look at them and nod and I quietly unsheath my blade.
Jonas pulls out his crossbow. Melina pulls out her blade. She's got
So what
a
blades?
short blade next to it.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the nearest guy, silent stepping as much as possible and put my sword over his head and then pull it back.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Why? Why are you so combative? Jeez, man. Never thought you'd hear me ask you that,
You
huh?
think
Right?
you hear something. You think they hear something for a moment. Because they all look over all of a sudden. And Rainmar is standing in the middle of the path coming down. Just standing there, motionless. He's kind of glowing a little bit weirdly. They all look at him for a second. And that gives you a chance to slip it over. Go ahead, make me a 20.
18.
Jerk it back, and you behead him completely in one shot. His head just falls forward and hits the ground. Melina, meanwhile, comes around one of the rocks. Oh, Jesus, I just rolled a 20. She
Oh,
takes
shit.
her and puts it right through the side, one ear and out the other. Blood just starts cascading out of this guy's mouth.
Does he say anything?
Nothing. Meanwhile, Jonas. Let's see.
Melina's not
What
a
is
very
this-
good
What is the
interrogator.
human doing back? One of them says. Jonas comes around the corner, fires his hand crossbow,
Oh,
or his
yeah.
light crossbow, and misses, but does not manage to attract their attention. Raymar just stands there motionless and then disappears.
So what I'm going to do is with the guy he missed.
You can tell right away that had to have been Lily. With her, remember she learned 2 delusion from
Mhm.
Brixton.
Mhm.
That had to be what she did.
So the guy Jonas missed, I pull out my dagger and throw it right at the guy's throat.
Wait, it's their turn.
All right.
He looks back. There were 7 guys there. 2 of them are dead. 5 of them are still there. One of them has the net and he's right there. He looks back to the group and sees you standing there behind a decapitated body. He sees Malia's got her sword through one of their head. He sees Jonas standing there with his crossbow. And he looks like he's about to say something. Roll for initiative, 6-sided for me.
Did he just turn his back on Monty?
He did turn his back on Monty.
3.
3. Okay. And Monty rolled the 6 for initiative.
Of course
he turns
she did.
his back. He turns his back. And Monty lunges at him.
Oh God. Oh God. I've been waiting the whole episode
She
for this.
grabs him by the back of the neck with her teeth. You hear bone snap. Blood fountains up out of his back. And he tries to shriek, you can see, but really nothing is coming out. And you ever see a Doberman or a pit bull when it gets a chew toy in its mouth and it starts shaking? She is shaking the shit out of him. She has him off of his feet, and the net goes flying up in the air, and she's just shaking him. You see bits of blood and bone and flesh just pouring out the side of this fountain of gore. She's shaking him back and forth.
This is D&D porn right here. I mean, this is
the other 4 started to turn. They don't know what to do now because one of them, they started to turn back to you, and they turn back at the sound. They're like, the warg. They didn't quite see that you guys were there because they turned there, and then before they got all the way around to see the fact that you were that close, now Monty's on their mind again. They start rushing Monty. It's your turn. What are you going to do?
There you go.
I'm going to run and just get my sword ready and just lunge into the back of one of them.
Okay. Make me a die roll. A 20.
14.
Okay. You reach back to attack. You put your sword up high. Rainmar, over where you are now.
Damn it, Carlos! I have to say this before we resolve stuff. I need you to make me a promise.
What's up?
Not you, dipshit. The other one.
No, okay, I'm gonna leave.
If Rainmar dies, I get to play Monty.
Jesus Christ.
Because we both know.
No such promise.
Oh, come on, man. Okay. All right, what's up? Let me
So they walked with you, these orcs, probably a good 25 minutes up into the mountains. Half hour in the mountains.
Okay.
And you see this, it starts to level off. In the mountains, you're pretty high up. It's really cold now. Okay. The wind is howling. It's lashing the area. There's frost everywhere on the ground. And in the distance, you see this collection of stones. It's obviously man-made. It's a man-made cairn, a burial spot. The orcs look at you. They nod. Here.
What do you know about in my drunken slur? What do you know about what's happening in here? What's all this?
They told me you'd know. That's what Garzak said.
Well, of course I know. I just want to know if you know.
All I know is what he tell us. Never come here. Bad place.
Then I won't ask you to follow me in, but I will ask that you stand guard.
Oh, ain't they not?
Now, from what I know about this place, you don't want your swords drawn. It attracts attention.
He looks at you. He says, he shakes his head. He goes, no. He goes, we no, no. He goes, we just watch with our bows. Be ready.
Take cover by a tree and make sure you can't be seen from the stones. Make sure you're only seen from outside.
No, he goes, we don't walk any farther. He goes, than that there. He points at the area right where it levels off. He goes, we stay
Perfect.
right here and wait.
Perfect. If you see anything come up on me, do what you think is right.
We do.
I want to explain something to you, my brothers. I'm too drunk right now to properly thank you for your courage. But I am orc kin, blood brother to Chakra, raised in these orcish tribes. And if I had 20 gold a day to give to you, I would give it to you.
Roll me out percentage. And one of them goes,
20.
he goes, oh yeah? He says, how come you smell like a gnoll then? Your blood.
Because
He goes, the blood, I can smell it in you.
yeah,
You're not orc kin. He goes, you're hyena kin.
I'm orc kin because I was raised with orcs, nitwit, and if I smell like Noel, it's because I kill them by the dozens.
They all look at each other. Do what you must. He goes, this is a bad place. We don't want to be here any longer than we have to.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, that's sweet. So I'll just start investigating around the rocks. I want them set up in a way where they're not watching me
Oh,
necessarily.
it's impossible. They're all standing there right at that area, right leading up to this. They're all
So they're guarding.
they're standing there with their bows. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, that's fine. What do I see?
Well, hold on. We're gonna do something first. You get about maybe 30 feet away, and the one that goes now, and they open fire.
Well, yeah, obviously I predicted that. I mean, okay.
As soon as you hear now, I'm going to give you a chance to roll a saving throw to get to cover. All right? So I need you to give me a 20-sider right now.
Are they... how many of them have a line of sight on me?
All of them.
Okay, so they position themselves.
They're ready for this.
Okay.
Go ahead and make me a 20-sider.
18.
You hear now, and as soon as you hear now, you know the jack is on. So you
Sure.
dive behind a set of rocks.
Okay.
They fire. Orc 1 misses you, hits a rock, snaps the arrow.
Okay.
Another one fires over your head, hits another set of rocks.
Okay, these guys clearly aren't real skilled with their bows.
Another one hits another set of the rocks. Another one misses. That's 2 orcs have fired.
And can I, while they're shooting at me, can I yell, hey guys, this is not the way you play this game. This is not the right game.
You hear that? Yeah, you can yell that. Another one misses you. Another one hits the rocks. This is a horrible set of rolls.
Well, depending on which side of it.
We have a hit and we have a max damage. One of them manages to hit you. You feel it penetrate right through your shoulder, right through the armor. Blood everywhere. The barbs in the arrow you feel just tear through your shoulder. It's just pain. Shoots through your left arm. Totally numb. Your arm goes totally numb. Take 6.
Okay.
That's 4.
Yeah, we're good.
Another one hits you.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 more.
Mm-hmm.
Miss. A miss. A miss. A miss. A miss. A miss, and you got 1 more.
Are they shooting 3 for 2s?
No.
Okay, well we're at
1 segment surprise round.
Okay, because we're at 9 now.
Yep.
So,
And then
okay.
you have take 1 more point of damage. So in total,
Okay.
you've taken 11 points of damage.
Yep.
You're bleeding badly. There's blood
Okay.
everywhere. Your left arm is useless. You're in total pain. And you hear one of the orcs yell back, and he starts laughing. He says, "How much gold do you have now, human?" Ha! You're behind these set of rocks. Now,
Okay.
here's the situation. There's the pass in front of you. There's a rocks interposed between you and them. You could hide out here now that you're behind cover pretty effectively, you figure. Directly behind you, about 20 feet, is this collection of rocks, this cairn. There is a burrow at the bottom of it that you could get into, you think.
Okay.
Because you're in the dead place now and you're going to join them very soon.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
I yell out in Orcish. What was the guy's name that I was talking to earlier?
The guy, the main leader,
Yeah.
Garfak.
No, the guy in this group.
Oh, in this group, Haras.
Haras. Okay. So I say, hey, somebody shot me. Can one of you guys bring me a bandages?
Quiet, and the orcs are quiet for a second.
And I white pitch one of my.
You're starting to cover it in white pitch. He says, no. He goes, we'll bandage you after the blood comes to you.
Okay, this is
He goes,
an
you
oil.
die slow now.
This is an oil flask.
Huh?
White pitch.
You're tying an oil flask through the white pitch arrow. Okay, you're tying.
No, just because I can't shoot.
Right, you're assembling the whole thing with one hand, and you hear him say, "You're going to wish the arrows would have killed you. You're going to die slow now, human, and we're going to sit here and wait. Then we're going to come just when you can't move, and we're going to eat the eyeballs out of your face."
Listen, if you guys are trying to spark a romance, you really need to work on.
You think you're almost done? God,
guys, do me a favor. It's gonna get dark soon. Will you hold this?
Okay, you throw it up over. Are you going to light the oil then before you throw the whole thing, or are you going to spark it some other way?
No, I'm gonna light it and throw it.
Okay, you're light it. Hold this. Throw it over your shoulder. What'd you get?
19.
Okay, you throw it over your shoulder. You hear the guys go, "Oil scatter!" As soon as the thing hits, it becomes apparent that it's not just oil. Hear an explosion. You hear, oh my God. All right, first of all, I just rolled on a 6-sider. 3 6s and a 4.
Yeah. White pitch is gnarly.
Well, you just threw basically attached a whole pot to it. So you throw it over your shoulder, and you hear these scatter. You hear screams, flames licking, the sound of burning flesh and hair comes to your. You can smell it from 50 yards away. Oh my God, it's horrible. It's just this horrible sound, licking, flames, crackling, burning sound from over there.
You guys can see okay, right? That's enough light?
You don't hear any retort at all from that area. Just this burning sound.
I go ahead and just throw another oil flask over my shoulder for the hell of it. just for the hell of it.
20.
11.
Okay.
Yeah, because all it's got to do is touch fire.
You hear it hit, and you hear it sounds like more of the burning, like it sounds like the flame intensifies more.
It should. I'm pretty intense.
Are you going to peek over your shoulder around the rocks and see what you've got?
Do I hear any movement?
No, all you hear is the sound of the wind and burning.
Yeah, I'll do a quick peek over, but I'm not going to expose myself.
Yeah. 2 things become apparent. You peek over your shoulder and look over there. The entire area, right where they were standing, is this incandescent white plume of fire and smoke rising up into the air. It is, you see the silhouette of at least one body inside of there that's not moving. It's hard to tell because of the brightness and the size of the fire. Uh, that's the first thing that you notice is that there's about a 50-foot radius area of just a of just a maelstrom of flame, of white flame. The second thing you notice is that as soon as you did that, you jumped up, turned around, you have to sit right back down because you're becoming lightheaded from blood loss. You're in worse shape than you thought.
Yeah, that's fine. Do I have any marshmallows?
You think that to yourself as we resolve Agrias' attack. Agrias, you come down with the sword and make me a D8.
D8. What's this one? Yeah. 2.
Okay. Agrias, you come down with the sword and you drive it right through the guy's back, through the front of his chest, and out through your blade shines forth as it comes through his chest. He kind of starts to drop. You just feel his weight on your blade in the front. He just lifeless weight. Molina looks at him, at one of them, and says, "Drop." In a voice only you can hear. This darkness kind of curling around her mouth. It's not really a word that she says. It's just this form of this shadow that, like, it comes actually out of her in breath form. The orc sits there, looks at her, and then just falls to the ground face first. His hands over his head.
I like this girl.
Jonas. Jonas takes another shot with a hand crossbow, goes right through one of the eyes, and the guy looks like he wants to scream, but then Monty is on his back, just tearing the flesh from him, ripping him back and forth. He's just kind of murmuring and gurgling. That leaves one left. And he looks like he's about to scream. And Sister Aramina comes out of the shadows and puts a fist right through his chest from the back, grabs something meaty from his back, and rips it straight out of his back. You see her beating heart in his hand. She kind of just looks at it. She looks like she wants to take a bite out of it for a second, then just throws it down to the side.
You see the kind of women I'm into?
Agrias, you're standing there in this group of dead orcs around you. Nobody's moving. Nobody's breathing. And you see Monty kind of look up. Her whole face is covered in blood and these pieces of orc body. She looks over and she says, "Told you so."
Okay. I look at Arumina and ask, "Did you see where Rangmar went?"
No, she says, "I didn't." But you look over and I know. The warp.
Good girl.
She says, "I smell him ahead. There's fire."
Oh, can I roll to see if I saw the explosion?
Oh, actually, yeah.
20-sider?
Yeah.
14.
You did not see where the explosion came from. You guys were in too much of a combat to do so. But
Fair
when
enough.
you look back, it becomes kind of obvious where Rainmar is because there's this big plume of black smoke near the top of the mountains coming up.
I know how to throw a party.
You hear the orcish camp. There's a lot of milling about and things. They've obviously noticed that too, and it looks like they're getting themselves ready.
Okay, we bolt to where we see the smoke.
How are you going to get up that path? You'd have to go right directly through the camp.
That's not a problem as long as you're behind them.
You want me to creep and kill?
Well,
you
you
want me to creep and kill?
Let's be clear. You're kind of creepy. I mean, you and Melina are kind of like shadow walker types. I mean,
Yeah, but dude, I mean, bro, that's 40 orcs. That's a
no,
lot.
it's not. It's not 40
You hear
orcs.
a scream in the middle of the camp, and you start hearing chaos everywhere.
40 minus 16, bro.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
You hear chaos everywhere. People are screaming, yelling stuff in orc. You hear killer.
Sunny.
Oh, that's right, Sonny.
But you see, the thing is, there's a difference between 40 and 24. I mean, you actually have the advantage now because they don't even know that you're there. Their attention is on the fire that I just started, and now they're distracted with Sunny. So
Right.
really, you guys could just walk in there and start killing people.
Is everyone back on me, Carlos?
Everybody has reformed back on you. You just need to walk about 30 feet and you could see right into the orc area if you wanted to up the ridge.
Let's do that.
What you see is the orcs all converging in the middle of, there's like 20 orcs converging towards the middle of the camp
Perfect.
on two gnomes that are standing back to back.
Perfect.
Sunny is standing over Garfox's dead body.
Perfect.
She backstabbed him and killed him. I rolled it while that whole fight was going on.
This is perfect, dude.
She
This is what we
sneaked into
want.
there and backstabbed and killed the orc chief.
This is perfect, dude. She's technically the chief now.
It's true. Do you want to recruit these guys, or you want me to kill them?
They're don't staying back to back. The whole group, the whole orc group is.
They don't want to be recruited, bro. My charisma was not enough.
All right, so Carlos, I'm going to look at my entire posse again, hand over mouth, silent killing, while everyone's distracted, and we just double time it up there.
Okay, Agrias, you start running in there, top speed. What's your move? I'm gonna let you go first, head of your group.
Okay, I'm gonna do 2 hits if I can. I'm gonna run up, slice the first orc I see, decapitate him, and then I'm gonna look.
Make me 2 20s for your attacks.
2 20s. Okay, that one. That's a 5. That's a fail. And that's an 11. And the next one's just gonna be slicing one of their throats.
Make me an 8-sider.
8-sider. That's a 7.
Well, you hit armor with the first one, but the second draw is you got the attention, he turns around and you just slice right across the front of his face, both right across the eye level. He just screams back, grabs his face, falls backwards, dead. Some of the orcs turn around, we're under attack! As soon as they say they're under attack, you see Sunny and Lily fall down. As do 12 more orcs after Melina casts sleep at the back of the group. They just fall back down. Actually, that would be 10 because they're also first level characters. So 10 more orcs at the back of the group fall. Lily and Sunny were caught in the sleep spell. They fall down unconscious.
That's a problem.
The next to attack would be you see dashing through the group. Monty comes forward and grabs one, just grabs it by the leg and tosses it to the left, slamming it up against the rocks. You see the broken body just hit the rocks and fall. She's just trying to grab things and throw them back and forth with her mouth. But this high from the ground, only like Great Dane size, so it's really hard for them to get a bead on her. Sister Armina comes running through now. And Sister Armina, you see hit one with a palms, heel palm strike right to the jaw. Hear a neck break, blood kind of fall over. Noel jumps up off of the rocks with a kick.
I love this woman. Sister Artemina. Dude.
That's a miss. Jonas fires off a crossbow bolt, and as a hits another one in the chest. He's staggering around half dead. That leaves 8 more orcs right now alive.
Okay.
And their morale breaks when they see your whole force coming at them. You hear, run! Run! What about Garfok? Garfok's dead! Run! You see them all start to scatter out, just like rats off of sinking ship in every direction.
You might actually be able to recruit them now.
Andreas, what are you going to do?
All around sights on, and I'm gonna cast sleep and as many as I can in one little cone.
Okay. The rest of the party sees Agrias kind of turn his hand. This little black ball of shadow appears, throws it up in the air, slices it with the sword, and it turns into powder that explodes out towards them. And
Sweet.
Roll me a 12-sider.
12. 8.
8. Every single one of them, before they get very far, you see it, the shadow just overtake them and swirl around them. Their eyes turn black from like darkness, and they fall backwards unconscious.
I look at Melina and
All you see is in
say,
the middle of the group, their fire where their meat was cooking, just still dancing back and forth in the flame.
I look at Melina and say, slice all their throats, and I start going around slicing all the sleeping
She nods,
ones.
and they're starting to kill people left and right. Jonas looks at you and says, should I wake up the girls?
Patrick.
Yes. Yeah, what's up?
What about keeping a couple of them alive?
Patrick, as you're doing this, Monty just keeps running up the path.
I look at Automania and tell her to follow Monty.
She nods. She starts running up, following them.
And I'll keep one alive.
Raymar, you're standing there. You're up against the rock.
Bring me a pet.
You're starting to get a little bit tired. It's getting a little bit dark right now. It's you're feeling
Yeah, do I have any ability to put some direct pressure on that?
Yeah, you're putting weight. You're trying to put stuff on it, but it's just bleeding through it.
And what about so the orcs all died in the explosion, the fire?
You think they must have.
Okay. But I mean, do I hear any movement or?
Yes, you do. You do hear movement. What are you going to do?
Movement in my vicinity, coming toward me.
Yes, coming towards you.
2 legs or 4?
It's funny you should say that. 4. You hear
I say
died. Rainmar, can you hear me? You hear Sister Armina's voice.
Yeah, I'm over here. I'm not drunk anymore, but there's
we were despairing. Oh, she stops and she sees all your blood.
I'm missing about half the blood that was originally in my body.
She kneels down. She's relax. You're here with friends. She says everything's taken care of. Agrias led us into battle, and the orcs are dead, or dying at least.
Well, that's too bad. I wanted some of them for playthings.
She looks back at the fire. She says, it looks to me like you've already had a lot of fun today. She's biting your shoulder.
And me without my marshmallows.
Trying to help you up. What's a marshmallow? She's trying to help you up a little bit.
Don't worry about it. It's elvish magic.
Monty sits over it right next to you and just kind of leans up against your leg and is just laying down while your wounds are being
hey, sweetheart, come here. Let me talk to you.
Her whole face is this bloody mess of just orc blood everywhere. She smells like death. There's chunks of flesh and bone all over her face. She meets you
Beautiful.
with those burning green eyes.
Hey, listen, I cooked some orc for you over there. Go ahead and help yourself.
Smells you. Starts kind of licking your leg a little bit. Ate already. Says it, and you notice it too now, Raymar. She says it in one word in Gnomish, one word in Common. Uh, uh, uh,
Which word does she say in Gnomish?
the word is ate.
I tell her that I give her the word in Elvish that she said in Gnomish, so she has a reference for which one is which.
Eated. She says in Elvish. Doesn't understand quite the case tense thing yet.
That's okay.
Eated. Rainmar die?
Not in a million years.
Puts her head up against her leg on your lap.
And I just fluff her little ears, you know. She's got the ear, right? The little ear. So I just love her little ear, you know.
Killed many orcs with friends.
Yeah, well, why didn't you kill these orcs? I had to kill them myself.
Looks confused. She looks kind of confused.
Me too.
Like, I don't know what to say.
That's all right. I just fluff her a little bit. She needs love, you know.
Next, kill those orcs too. Rainmar, Grias, you're down at the camp among all these dead orcs. Lily and Sunny have been roused back. They tell you pretty much what happened. What they did is they hid in shadows and they creeped into the middle of the group. Sunny, to impress you, said that Lily told you. I tried to stop her, but she wanted to impress you, and she killed the chief. She backstabbed the chief and killed him. Because she wanted to impress you. She doesn't admit. Sunny does not admit that it was to impress you. She says she just tells you he was the toughest one, and so she thought that you would want the toughest one dead first. I just tried to do what I thought you would want me to do. There's one left alive, and you've got him bound up against one of the poles in the middle of the group. You see that as you're just putting the last one to bed, Rainmar is walking down up out of the mountains with Sister Aramina and Sister Armina and the rest of Monty. Monty is right next to Raymar's leg. She's helping him down. His shoulder has badly, obviously, been injured. He's bound up. They're coming down all together up out of the mountains.
You took a orc prisoner, right?
I did, yeah.
That's the first words he says to you.
Because I've been trying this whole time to hire just one freaking orc. So I go up to this orc. How you feeling, brother?
Lily and Sunny look at you like Lily whispers to you, Grace, is he gonna be okay? She looks at his shoulder.
He's gonna make it, I think.
Agrias, and Rainmar, you've been around her enough to know now when behavior changes. Monty looks a little different now. She looks like she wants to kill this orc bad, real bad. She's like right up to him. She's right at Raymar's leg, and you say that to him in Orcish Raymar, and you're wondering if she's gonna be able to hold herself back. She does, but she looks like she understands revenge now. You think is the whole gist of it. She's an animal, but she's beginning to understand semi-human concepts like that now.
That's cool
Raymar,
because I'm
you
only
say that
semi-human.
to him, and he just looks at you. He says, I don't know if I'm going to be okay or not. He looks at you.
Do you remember when I came in here earlier and I attempted to hire some orc kin to help me find a helm?
No, I don't. I was over there. He looks over at one of the tents. He says,
So here's what
I
happens.
heard there was a human here, but I didn't see you.
First of all, there's nothing human about me. Second of all, I want you to listen very carefully. Okay, because I'm in a bit of a mood today. You notice that I have some holes in my shoulder, and that really pisses me right off. So, this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm looking for a helm. I'm no longer going to pay you, especially for a day I took a hole in the shoulder. Do you have any interest in living at all? Because my dog is hungry.
He looks at her, and he looks right back at you. He's obviously he's terrified. He looked at the warg, and something he saw in her eyes scared the fuck out of him. He looks back up at you and doesn't even say a word.
Do you, in Orcish, do you want to live?
He just nods.
Pledge your allegiance to Rainmar the Wildlight.
I am your servant.
If you betray me, I feed you to her. And I'll make it last 6 months. I will heal you every day so she can have a new meal the next day. Do you understand me?
He just nods, doesn't say a word.
Cut him loose.
Lily looks at you, Agrias. Do you think he really would?
Yeah. I cut him loose.
Sonny looks over at him and she goes, he's lucky it's not me. I'd have killed him right now.
Shut up.
She looks back at you, shocked a little bit to hear that you even heard her.
I have a hole in my shoulder. I'm not in a very good mood. What's your name, Orckin?
He kind of just says, Nork.
Norik. From now on, you'll be known as Norik the Wildlight. Say it.
I am Nork the Wild Light,
Damn right you are.
servant of Rainmar the Wild Light.
Yeah, now you're putting it together. Nice work. Here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to start making sure that my people are in order.
How do I do that?
Whatever he says.
He walks over to you. The orc says, I'm Nork the Wild Light. I'm supposed to do what you say. He is so scared. You can see the look on his face. The color is all drained out of his face. He looks like he might pass. He might faint any second.
Where are the valuables in this camp?
I could show you. He goes, they're in Garfas's tent.
Walk me there.
Should I do what he says first or walk you there first?
Walk him there, and as I say that, I'm cleaning my blade.
I'll show you right now.
All the best weapons, all the best equipment, all the food.
Has those. Garfas takes all the good stuff.
And Monty is walking behind him the entire way.
Mm-hmm. She is this cold fury of barely controlled rage. You can tell as she's walking behind him. You could tell if the wind blows the wrong way, she's going to bite his Achilles tendons and kill him.
I like her.
She takes you over to the tent, and you find this clay pot there. It's sealed with wax over at the top. He nods. He goes, we found that not just yesterday on the battlefield. He goes, but this is. He points over at the at this bound up cloth, like a looks like a blanket that's been bound at the top. He says, "This is all the valuables we collected."
Okay. I'm just gonna take inventory, but he's gonna touch everything. He's gonna account for everything. Norik is now doing all that dirty work. He's doing all that stuff.
Norik opens it up, and what you see coinage in there. A lot of weird coinage, stuff that looks like it might have been from the Bone March before it was overrun. A lot of bent coins, a lot of beaten coins. There's some gold in there. There's some silver, a lot of copper. There's a couple polished stones in there that you see. He looks over at the pot. He goes, Norik said we don't open it yet until Garfase. We were going to open it when we'll let Witch Doctor open it. He says, I don't know what's in there. He goes, but you want me to open it? I will.
Do we have anybody that can identify it?
Not with you.
No, just bring it.
Okay, I carry it.
And in addition to that, where are your chief's weapons and armor and stuff?
He had them with him. Probably still with him.
So he's somewhere nearby, his body.
I'll show you, yeah. The little girl killed him.
That's embarrassing.
Doesn't say a thing.
Norik, let me ask you something. Is it more embarrassing to be my brother or to be killed by a little girl?
Whatever you say is more embarrassing is more embarrassing.
Understood. I'm going to tell him to strip Garguk's body.
Oh, thank God.
Which god? Zanye? Alatur? I mean, we can go all day. So I look at him and tell him he's the only survivor of this tribe.
He looks at you. He says, there are more of us. He goes, but I'm the only one. You're right. There are more of us, though.
Yeah, well, when we see them, you're the chief. Do you understand?
I am chief, but you are chief of chiefs.
Sounds good. Put the friggin' armor on. Take your former chief's weapons and armor. You're going to carry this coinage. These are the spoils of war when you hang with me. You betray me, I'll fucking gut you and take all this off of you.
He nods. Orc, die.
Not yet, sweetheart. Don't worry, you'll get your chance.
He nods. Starts packing all the stuff, starts stripping the body.
Is there anything of value in this place at all?
Yeah, the stuff that he had over there, and he actually Norik indicates to you. He shows you where the concubine of Garfaz was. He gave her a couple things too.
Is she dead?
Yeah, dead.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take all that, but what I want to do with him is make sure that he understands that when he's with me, there's going to be more money, better weapons, more spoils of war.
Yeah, it's going to take him a while for him to absorb these lessons because he's terrified out of his socks right now. But he will. But eventually, you're pretty confident you'll get that through to him. Rainmar, and Agrias, in the meantime, you and the rest of the group are out front. Lily is pretty worried about Rainmar because she's worried that his shoulder is going to get infected because her aunt always says you have to clean out a wound before you bandage it. And
I thought Uramina did that.
She bandaged it and did the best she could, but she didn't have any water with her.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's do that.
She says that she really wants, if we can, I'll role play it out. Agrias, I know I'm not in charge of anybody or anything, but I think it's important maybe we get him back to see to see the druid because he's hurt pretty bad. I don't think he knows it because he's so mad right now. But he's
Who's
not
this
going to be
speaking to
mad
me?
soon. But sooner or later, he's not going to be mad, and I don't want him to die.
Can Rangmar ride Monty?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Remember that Renmar is a big boy.
Raymar's a big dude.
Okay.
You know, like how sometimes you get really mad and you can't feel anything, and I think that's like how he is right now. And but when he's not so mad anymore, maybe maybe he's gonna. I don't want him to die. That's all.
Let's get him back to camp. Is there any way we can send Monty ahead to get the druid?
Well, she's getting pretty smart.
My question is, why are we stopping on the helm? Aren't we close to where the helm is?
You're real close to where the helm is.
Yeah, dude, I have half of my hit points left. As long as we stop the bleeding and I get it cleaned out.
Yeah, they don't understand that yet. That's all. They just see how bad it looks. That's all.
It's because I'm covered in blood, but the truth is, I have half my hit points, and we're close to the helm.
Exactly. So,
does my water skin have water in it?
Of course it does.
All right, let's clean his wound real quick.
Okay, Agrias, you go over to where Raymar is. Raymar is in the. You see, he's in the process of looting this place. The monks are all talking to one another. They're discussing. They're discussing something amongst themselves. Something about the moon.
Okay, I signal for them to come over and help me sit Rangmar down.
Okay. Agrias, one of them looks. The Karak looks at you and says, "Do you think this is going to be a problem?"
Well, I don't know. It might. He might feel a pinch when I clean his wound, so I just need you to hold him down.
Can we?
I thought he might. I thought he might bring steel out. The way
we have some alcohol too. I mean, I'm sure there's grog.
You have some wineskins here.
Yeah, for sure. Just pour some alcohol.
You go ahead and Agrias cleans out the wound. It does sting pretty good, mostly because, actually Lily's idea wasn't too bad because these orcs live in squalor.
Yeah.
So that thing would have probably gotten infected pretty badly. But Agrias cleans it out, and pretty soon you feel like you're on the road to recovery.
Okay.
I
look at Norik and go, "Is there any food?"
He nods. He nods over at the. He goes, "That's roast goat there. It might be overdone now, though."
It's too bad we don't have any like a way to season it.
The girls look at each other. Did he teach you that? No, he didn't teach me yet. I can do my best and make it good for you if you want.
Sonny, Lily, I want you on kitchen detail.
Right, we'll right on it. Sonny looks at you. Oh, Raymar. Raymar?
Yeah, what?
I got the chief good for you. She nods and turns around and walks away.
Good, thank you. Except for I wanted to hire him, but okay.
They're in the middle of cooking. I imagine right now you guys are going to make camp here while you eat and recover a little bit.
Recover a little bit, and then at the first second we can, and he's feeling righteous, we're going to go get the helm.
Okay.
How many hit points can I get back?
You will get back 1 tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And for right now, I think that's a good place to stop our session. It is now 11:07 here Eastern time. We've been at it for about 3 hours.
Okay.
You guys did a nice job. You managed to leave the prismatic chrysanthemums. You got here, found the battlefield on the way. Managed to take out a pretty sizable warband on your own without getting killed. That was good. and you found out that your group right now for low level is actually pretty tough. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so being outnumbered by a group of orcs like that is not it's no joke, but you turned a bad situation into actually a win, which is better than you probably could have expected. You're poised right there at the entrance to where the helm is hidden, and when we begin next episode, whether it's a makeup game or well, no, it won't be a makeup game. It'll be a full on tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys will be able to go after the helm tomorrow. So um, stick around after the game as usual. We'll go ahead and we'll sign off here, and we'll say our goodbyes after that. But for everybody that tuned in tonight, Gitano, thank you so much for showing up. I saw that you were here. Thanks, Amanda, for watching the whole time. And guys, thanks for watching First Betrayal. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock p.m., we're going to have our next episode where you'll get to see the whole group en masse, and you will get to see the entire group go for the helm. For Rainmar, over here on my left, Jeremy Brazil. For Agrias on my right, Patrick Hope. And for Norik, frightened out of his wits, I will say good evening, everyone. And thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.